Chapter 601. He took out his phone and dialed Yi-er's number. She said her phone was switched off. Did she see the newspapers? Enyu stood up from his seat and quickly walked back to the villa. He went upstairs to his room, changed out of his home clothes, and put on his outdoor clothes. He draped his coat over his arm and got into the car. He started the car and drove towards the private hospital Yi-er was staying at. Yi-er arrived at the auditorium of the media college. Actually, Xia Qian only wanted to invite the reporters. But the front row of the auditorium was filled with reporters. The back and the second floor were filled with students who had heard about the news. It was crowded outside. The handsome mayor's influence was so high. Yi-er stood outside the auditorium and was shocked when she saw so many people. She suddenly felt nervous. She had never seen such a scene before. She wanted to escape. She did not expect there to be so many people. Weren't they all reporters? But can she escape? The invitation was sent under her name. If she did not go, what would happen to Xia Qian? If she admitted that she sent the invitation and did not go, she would be going back on her words. If she denied it, Xia Qian would become the target of public criticism. Luckily, she was wrapped tightly in her jacket. Other than thinking she was slightly taller, no one noticed her. She switched on her phone and called Xia Qian before she saw the incoming message. Qian, I'm here. Where are you? Xia Qian asked. I'm at the flower bed opposite the auditorium. There are too many people there. I'm afraid I can't hear you calling. Yi-er turned around and went to look for Xia Qian. Xia Qian's clothes were very white. In Xia Qian's words, a hard-working girl like her had to choose clothes that were dirty. Yi-er saw Xia Qian in a dirty black down jacket. She waved at her. Turn around. I'm at the fountain. Xia Qian turned around. Yi-er was waving at her from the fountain outside the auditorium. They hung up the phone. You're so fast. Have you thought of what to say? Xia Qian held onto Yi-er's arm. Yi-er was wearing high heels today and was taller than her. Once again, she hated genetics. Why were there so many people who could mutate, but it was so difficult for her to mutate? I haven't decided yet. I'm a little scared to go. Yi-er stopped timidly and turned around to look at Xia Qian. Xia Qian thought to herself, you're not my boyfriend, so why should I look up to you? Damn it. Don't you know how to wear heels when you come looking for me today? Since he was so tall, why was he standing here instead of being an electric pole? Thinking about it was one thing, but he couldn't say it out loud. Idiots weren't stupid. What's wrong with you? You asked me to find someone to hold a press conference for you. Haven't you thought of what to say? Yin-yi, are you trying to kill me? I haven't even graduated yet. How am I going to survive in this industry in the future? Let me tell you, if you let what happened today affect my future employment, you have to compensate me immediately. Otherwise, I won't let you off. How will it affect your future employment? Yi-er felt that she should relax a little and talk about something else. She didn't pull down the scarf around her face. She felt that the fabric around her mouth was a little damp after she spoke. Think about it. I'm from the School of Communication. Today, these people are all trying to pull strings with my classmates. Even the teachers and the head of the school are saying that Xia Qian dug up the news and that I'm going to be famous. But you're telling me, but now, they're saying that I don't dare to go. You want me to take my diploma and go to the television station to look for a job? Do you think they'll hire someone like me, who's so dumb, to be a news anchor? You know that you're dumb, but you still want to be a news anchor? You're asking for a beating. Xia Qian said fiercely. Although she said that, she knew that Yi-er was afraid. She had always thought of herself as an older sister. As an older sister, she had to be as capable as her older sister and be able to protect her younger sister. Yi-er, let me tell you, don't be afraid later. You just have to deal with that adulterous couple. You're the victim. If you get a divorce, you'll get a lot of money. When Xia Qian saw the newspaper, she was furious. How could Jiang Zhao not treat Yi Er as his wife? How was he going to continue living like this? The newspaper said that he and Ouyang Yan had a deep relationship. If Jiang Zhao got together with that despicable Ouyang Yan in the future and transferred their assets, Yi Er would be the one to lose out. Divorce was always a woman's loss. Not to mention the relationship, if she was labeled as a divorcee, it would be different for her to find a husband in the future. It didn't matter if men got divorced. This was no longer considered news in the media industry. So the best way was to get the money that she deserved. She was even consulting Yi Er with her lawyer. She was determined not to lose to that adulterous couple. Yi Er was taken aback. What? Divorce? No, she wasn't here to get a divorce. What did Xia Qian want? Did she want her to get a divorce because of this news? I don't want a divorce. I won't get a divorce. Qian, I'm not holding this press conference to get a divorce. I'm trying to save this marriage. Are you mistaken? Yi Er's eyes peeked out from under the scarf. Her voice wasn't loud because she was suppressing the urge to shout, but her eyes were slightly red. She had been red the entire time. She was nervous, guilty, and fearful. She wanted to fight for it, but she was afraid that Ouyang Yan would beat her back. This forced her to turn red. You don't want a divorce? You've seen them in this state and you still don't want a divorce? Yi Er, don't say that I look down on you. Jiang Zhao's family background is not bad, but you can't ruin your life for his family background. How old are you? You have a future ahead of you. What if he's sleeping in the same bed as you and running to another woman? What if you're old? What will you do? Qian, he didn't. I was there both times. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that someone is trying to mess with him. Really? Why would I lie to you? Xia Qian looked seriously into Yi Er's eyes. She wasn't good at reading people's minds. Most of the time, her reactions were a little slow and she would come up with some fallacious reasoning. That was why many of her classmates had signed internships, but she couldn't. After looking at Yi Er for a long time, she still couldn't understand what her eyes meant. She felt that this woman was so anxious that she was about to cry. Forget it. You're my friend. You can do whatever you want. Anyway, I'll support you no matter what you do. Xia Qian pulled Yi Er away from the crowd and went around to the back door. They entered the auditorium from the back door. Did you discuss this with Jiang Zhao before you held the press conference? No. She wasn't going to discuss it with him. He probably wanted this matter to blow up. She wanted to be the first to act and cut off these people's escape route. Xia Qian once again pulled Yi Er back. Oh my God, Yunyi, are you trying to play me to death? I'm done playing. I feel like my future is going to be ruined because of you. I don't care. I can't get a divorce anyway. Yi Er's scalp hardened. She tore off her scarf, wrapped it tightly around herself, and stuffed it into her big bag. She took out her phone, and her face appeared on the black screen. She used the screen to tidy her hair. She was supposed to tie her hair up today to look more energetic, but there was a bandage on the back of her head. She had to let her hair down and wear a hat to cover it. Xia Qian sighed. Yunyi, you can take my place in the future. I'm not as stupid as you. You're the stupidest woman. Yi Er rolled her eyes at Xia Qian. I'm already worthy of my ancestors by being a stupidest woman. I'm already worthy of you by not being crazy. Xia Qian was stunned. Okay. I won't talk about you anymore. Go. I'll protect you. She then patted her chest. Yi Er looked at her coldly. Stop it. If you take any more pictures, you'll lose all your A's. Xia Qian was about to curse when Yi Er turned around and walked towards the podium from backstage. The stairs were covered with an old red carpet. The texture was not good, and it was only used to prevent slipperiness. When one stepped on it, it felt as if they were not stepping on solid ground. One could hear someone checking the microphone, and the sound of tapping echoed. There were also sharp screams in the air. Lifting the dark red velvet curtain of the side door, the auditorium was as bright as the sky. Yi Er took a deep breath. The sound of the camera shutters was like a thunderstorm. In an instant, the camera flashes came crashing down on her like lightning. Yi Er knew that she had no way out. The front was flat and open, and the lights were brilliant. Although there was a red carpet behind her, there were stairs at every step. It was dark and dangerous. So, she had no choice but to move forward or retreat. Everyone yearned for a better life. A better life. Although there was pain, there was calculation, there was exploitation, and there was no other choice. But what he gave her was stability, happiness, warmth, and a complete family. Yi Er's mouth slowly widened. She knew that her expression, her gaze, and her actions were all criticized. So, she was Mrs. Jiang. She had to be able to make people speechless in front of everyone. She had an outstanding husband. Her husband was her role model. She thought about the scene when she chased the robbers into a dead end. He had descended like a god to save her and protect her. She had clung to him like a little Pekingese and begged him to take her back to the rundown neighborhood. He and she were enemies, but he was willing to let go of their former enmity and carry her upstairs because of the injury on her foot. She felt that he had always been kind, and she was the one who was too vicious. He had saved her from Zhuang Yichen and hid her in his apartment. He had saved her from the car that was about to hit her and sent her back. He did not want to have anything to do with her. She had repaid kindness with ingratitude. She had schemed, used, and snatched the position of Mrs. Jiang from the woman he loved deeply. In fact, other than not loving her, he had always been good to her. Not many women could live a stable life like her. Jiang Zhao had been very good to her, very good. Thinking about this, the corners of her mouth widened. Her eyes were filled with gentle and happy ripples. The camera shutters captured the beauty of the woman with the red curtains. It was as if she could feel the first ray of light at dawn. Yi Er stepped forward with a smile on her face. She walked gracefully to the podium in the middle of the rostrum. Listening to the chaotic sound of the camera shutters, Yi Er recited Jiang Zhao's name to calm herself down. Yi Er patted the microphone, and it rang twice. Yi Er adjusted her hat and tried to speak slowly so that she would appear more elegant and worthy of her husband, Jiang Zhao. She only spoke with her own unique sense of humor, not allowing herself to appear overly reserved. Hello, everyone. After a simple opening speech, Yi Er politely nodded to the audience. The sound of the camera shutters became more intense for a short while. Jiang Zhao held his phone and heard his wife's voice. Hello, everyone. I'm Yi Er, Jiang Zhao's wife. You can call me Mrs. Jiang. My friends from the media, please take prettier photos of me. However, digital cameras don't waste film. You can choose prettier photos and publish them to satisfy my vanity, which is a love for beauty. Yi Er's eyes flashed with a bright light. Her eyes curved with a teasing smile. Even the monotonous tone of her voice changed slightly. But tomorrow's headlines don't have Mrs. Jiang's vanity to the extreme. Then I'll remember the names of the reporters and editors in the newspaper. Then I'll find your children and ask them, darling, do your parents always lie to you? Welfare, Hongcha 866. Chapter 602. After Yi Er finished speaking, the audience burst into laughter. No one expected the deputy mayor's wife to be so humorous. She does not sound like someone from a political family. Someone asked impatiently. Madam Mayor, how do you want to respond to today's newspaper? The podium was a little high, so some people had to place a stool under it. However, Yi Er was tall, and she was wearing high heels. So even if she placed her hands on the table, she could still straighten her back. Looking at the reporter who asked the question, Yi Er nodded her head and smiled. This beautiful lady seems to be in a hurry to ask this question. Everything I'm saying right now is a response to your question. But my brain and logical thinking are not as good as my husband's, and my organization is not as clear as his. You can't ask me the same way you ask him. Although I don't expect you to tolerate my shortcomings like my husband, don't rush me, or my brain will short-circuit. Yi Er skillfully praised Jiang Zhao and used Jiang Zhao's love for her in her speech. She also used a humorous way to express it. The audience burst into laughter again. Also, I need to correct the beautiful Mrs. Mayor. The current mayor of Haicheng is Mayor Chen. My husband is only the deputy mayor. You should call me Mrs. Jiang. Jiang Yuning said. Yi Er's eyes brightened up when she heard the laughter from the audience. She continued, I am not here today to use my husband's title and the title of madam to respond to today's newspaper. I am here as Jiang Zhao's wife. The person mentioned in this press conference is not a deputy mayor. He is only my husband. Yi Er did not dare to clench her hands together on the table to relieve her nervousness. She could only put her hands together in a seemingly relaxed manner, because she knew that other than the audience, there were also countless cameras on the surrounding 2 floors. Just as Yi Er paused and was about to catch her breath, another reporter asked, What's the matter? How will Mrs. Jiang respond to today's newspaper? Sigh. Yi Er smiled and sighed. This handsome guy seems to be very anxious. You can change your seat and sit next to that anxious beauty. Maybe you will have a lot to talk about. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The audience laughed. Yi Er touched her hat and did not answer the reporter's question. Actually, I shouldn't wear a hat on stage today. Last night, I came back from Qingbei apartment and caught a cold. The wind is strong today, and I am afraid I will catch a cold. Mrs. Jiang, did you say that you went to Ouyang Yan's house with the deputy mayor last night? A reporter grasped the main point and asked anxiously. I had said before. Don't mention the deputy mayor. Next time, please use this question. Mrs. Jiang, are you saying that you and Mr. Jiang Zhao went to Ouyang Yan's house last night? Or, Mrs. Jiang, are you saying that you and Mr. Ouyang Yan went to Ouyang Yan's house last night? I will answer these 2 questions. I will not answer other questions because this is my family's business. Behind closed doors, I only have Jiang Zhao in my house. There is no deputy mayor Jiang. I had said before that this is my personal behavior. Now, my husband and I are just ordinary people. Do you understand? Some of the reporters laughed and jeered when they heard the word dear. Understood. Yi Er smiled and said, All right, then please ask your reporter friends who understand. Mrs. Jiang, are you saying that you and Jiang Zhao went to Ouyang Yan's house last night? A reporter asked Yi Er with a cheeky smile. Yi Er felt much better now that a very serious press conference had turned out like this. Otherwise, she would be dead meat if she continued to use a very serious method to deal with these reporters. Because the more serious and tense the atmosphere was, the clearer the minds of these reporters would be, and the more unreasonable they would be. Dear, you are so considerate. You can understand everything so quickly. Happy working with you. Let me answer. Yi Er's reporter laughed and sat down. This mayor's wife is too funny. Yi Er said, Actually, when I saw this newspaper this morning, I was thinking of a problem. I have to criticize it. The editor who wrote this newspaper is really not dedicated enough. I want to emphasize this matter here. People who work in the news and media are most afraid of not being able to endure hardships. They don't even have the willpower to stay a little longer to look for news. It's better not to do it. Last night, the 3 of us alighted from the car together. After that, I hit my head, and my husband rushed to bring me back to the hospital. The last time, I was also the one who left the apartment with my husband. But the editor said that he had left, and no one left. I feel that if there is no end to the report, it means that the reporter is immoral. People who are immoral will not be able to work in the media industry. At this time, Xia Qian brought a laptop to the stage and passed a USB flash drive to Yi Er. This is the CCTV footage from last night. It only shows the 3 of you alighting from the car together. Show it to me. Yi Er smiled and nodded. With Xia Qian's help, he connected the projector and played a short video. Although the video was from a distance, the car, and the three of them could be seen clearly. It matched the scene in the photo. After the video ended, the video stopped. All of you can see the timing of this video. So, I will not say anything about the newspaper's response. Anyone with eyes can see how unprofessional the editor is. Yi Er unplugged the USB flash drive and passed it to Xia Qian. Thank you. Xia Qian walked off the stage coolly. She did not seem to have any relationship with Yi Er. I have another reason for coming here today, and that is to apologize to Miss Ouyang. Actually, I usually call her Sister Yan in private, but to make the apology more official, I will call her that. Yi Er appeared to be very sincere. His sincerity was so genuine that it could be mistaken for the real thing. I have nothing to do with Jiang Zhao. Our relationship is very good. I was present both times. We trust each other and there is no rift between us. However, the biggest victim of this incident is Miss Ouyang. She is not married yet. Reputation is very important to a woman. I don't know what the editor is trying to do by slandering her. When Miss Ouyang first returned to High City, she had to find a place to stay in the north of the city for work reasons. I was the one who offered the house to her. If you don't believe me, you can go and confront her. Miss Ouyang is a dignified woman. Everyone in High City knows that. I think it is too much for her to be criticized just because she was in a relationship in university. Everyone here has gone to university. Why don't you do a spot check now? How many of you did not break up? Could it be that because they had broken up, their relationship with their current lover was not good? If you are, then stand up bravely and argue with me. Record this argument well and put it on the internet so that more people can watch. Yi Er's tone was full of humor and did not sound like she was criticizing anyone. Using her tone, the atmosphere was so relaxed that it did not feel like a woman who was holding a press conference because of a mistress. The audience laughed. Who would be stupid enough to stand up and say that their ex was better than the current one? You still want to argue? If they had a boyfriend or girlfriend in the future, the explanation would be a cover-up. When Jiang Zhao and I got married, Jiang Zhao was already 29 years old. I feel that it is normal for a 29-year-old man to have a relationship. I feel that he does not need to be responsible for his past relationships. What do you think? But he is the deputy mayor. He is not an ordinary person. Someone was finding fault with Yi Er. Yi Er narrowed her eyes slightly. Her tone was still gentle and slow, but it felt like there was a knife hidden behind her smile. But you are a reporter. People say that being a reporter is a sacred and noble profession. Your pen can kill and kill. With a wave of your pen, you can decide the happiness and unhappiness of others. Don't you think your status is higher than mine? Then shouldn't you be responsible for your past relationships? After Yi Er finished speaking, she smiled at the reporters in a very friendly manner. The reporter who asked the question was stunned. How did it become his responsibility? We are going to ask about Deputy Mayor Jiang. He needs to give us an explanation. Handsome, you are too agitated. My husband is not Deputy Mayor Jiang when he was in university. He was in a relationship at that time. What did you do? Could it be that you know you will be the TV station chief in the future, and that's why you did not date in university? Ha ha ha. Ching Su, who was backstage, laughed. Yi Er was good at debating. The reporter was confused by Yi Er. What she wanted to ask was not the past. She wanted to ask about the present. Even if last night's incident was because the editor did not take the appropriate photos, what about the previous incident? Yi Er shrugged his shoulders. I was also there the previous time. There should be surveillance cameras in my neighborhood, and we went home together. You also know that the editor is not reliable. You would rather believe him than me. Even if you continue to question him, you will not get any results. Or are you saying that you are willing to believe an unreliable editor? You want to learn from him and create some unreliable news to entertain the public? Do you really want to be a reporter with this kind of quality? I don't think it's a good idea. The reporter took a deep breath. This was clearly not a press conference. What kind of nonsense was this? Just as he was about to question further, Yi Er ignored him and said seriously to the audience, "My ability to organize my words is not very good. So in the end, I still want to take this opportunity to apologize to Miss Ouyang. Last time, because I was not at my new home, Miss Ouyang called me to inform me. I asked her to bring Jiang Zhao back to the apartment in the north of the city so that I could pick him up immediately. Yesterday, the three of us chatted together for a while, and then we sent Miss Ouyang back to the north of the city. In the end, we were misunderstood time and time again. I also hope that the editor who wrote this report will come forward. My husband and I can forget about it. I have said before that we trust each other and there are no cracks. But this editor should apologize to Miss Ouyang. As for the psychological damage and compensation, I also hope that Miss Ouyang can protect her own reputation and interests. Whether she is a civil servant or not, I feel that she should have the right to protect her own reputation. Otherwise, the next time an unethical editor wants to become famous, he will make groundless accusations without any legal responsibility. In a harmonious society, everyone is equal. Ad Shinwu 799. Chapter 603. When Ouyang Yan heard the audio link, she was so angry that her face turned uglier. What kind of bullshit apology was this? This person was trying to shift the blame of Jiang Zhao onto her. In the end, both of them were fine, and Ouyang Yan's reputation was ruined? Her reputation was ruined? She had to use the law to protect herself? This damn Yin Yi. What a disgrace. She threw her earpiece on the floor and stepped on it. Jiang Zhao's car had stopped at the university, but he did not alight from the car. He did not want to miss the voice of the person talking on the phone. He also does not want to eavesdrop outside the car. Actually, he did not want to say anything about this incident. No one will dare to do anything about it. His father and grandfather will suppress this matter. Luckily, news about someone like him will not be broadcasted live. Today's news will not appear on the government's media, and it will not be broadcasted. Dong Xuebing wanted to stop this, but he could not. The phone was switched off. After that, he called Xia Qian. Xia Qian told him that Yi Er did not want to get a divorce, and that was why she held this press conference. Dong Xuebing immediately asked his men to check the CCTV footage from the north of the city. He was a political figure, and it was not suitable for him to hold a press conference to announce his past. But Yi Er did not know what was going on. But when Yi Er heard from Xia Qian's phone that there was only Jiang Zhao in the house and no Deputy Mayor Jiang, Dong Xuebing felt his eyes sting. He felt bitter when he heard those words. She had approached him because he was the deputy mayor. But at this moment, Dong Xuebing was willing to take her words as the truth. She said their relationship was good, and they trusted each other. She also said her husband was tolerant of her shortcomings. Dong Xuebing thought to himself. Just let her be. If she were to create a mess, he would clean it up. Because of what she said, their relationship was good, and they trusted each other. Because of what Xia Qian said, Yi Er said she did not want to get a divorce. Sigh. Just let her be. Anyway, Dong Xuebing had never spoiled her. Putting aside the sensitivity of his position, he felt that Yi Er was really cute when she was talking. Maybe being the mayor's wife had made her suppress her personality too much. She was not even 20 years old, and he felt sorry for her. Qin Zhen sat in Jiang Liqing's office with a cold face. Jiang Liqing poured a glass of water but didn't pass it to Qin Zhen. He just put it on the table and drank his own glass. Jiang Liqing. Qin Zhen hated it when Jiang Liqing was like this. He was usually like a raging lion, but as long as he was in front of her, he would be lukewarm, making her feel like she couldn't get angry. At the very least, they had to argue for a bit before they would get angry. What do you plan to do about Zhao Zhao? Jiang Liqing, on the other hand, was not in a hurry. The winter military uniform looked very thick and textured. For someone of his age, he looked tall and handsome. Of course, but you agreed to let him marry Yunyi, Qin Zhen was stunned. Was he trying to settle old scores with her? I didn't expect you to hold a press conference. I've already talked to the government media. This matter will not blow up in a month. Jiang Liqing still looked indifferent. Are you still a man? You don't even have any reaction when something like this happened to our son. Jiang Liqing raised his tiger-like eyes and looked at Qin Zhen without blinking. Could it be that he had misunderstood? Qin Zhen didn't like people who were gentle. She liked people who were hot-tempered. He had been suppressing his temper in front of her for so many years after their divorce. Was it easy for him? Then how do you want me to react? Jiang Liqing raised his voice and became fiercer. No one can control that brat now. How can you control him? As his mother, how can you control him? If you didn't go against me in the past, would he be able to marry Yunyi? It's all because you are muddle-headed that you agreed to this marriage. Qin Zhen was stunned. What? Jiang Liqing dared to scold her. Scolded her for being muddle-headed? Humph. I'm just afraid that our son will follow in your footsteps. If he ends up like you, being depressed for the rest of his life because the woman he likes got married, that's my son. Why should I not agree to it? Jiang Liqing wanted to explode when he heard Qin Zhen say this. What was the point of bringing up old scores? Who hadn't been young before? But Qin Zhen didn't like him being gentle. She said that he wasn't like a man, so she raised her voice. Then why are you talking about it now? You made the mistake, and you still have the cheek to come here and make a scene. You should be the one to clean up this mess. Qin Zhen's face turned pale. She couldn't stand Jiang Liqing suddenly speaking to her like this. Did he mean that she shouldn't have come to him? But he was Jiang Zhao's biological father. If she didn't come to him, who would he go to? She turned and grabbed her bag on the chair, opened the door and walked out. Jiang Liqing suddenly froze. Before he could finish scolding her, his ex-wife had run away. Wrong again? After Yi Er's press conference ended, Jiang Zhao told Xia Qian to let Yi Er take the call. Yi Er didn't seem to hear the questioning from the people below the stage. She elegantly lifted the curtains and left the backstage. As soon as she walked down the stairs, she fell weakly into Xia Qian's arms. Xia Qian was still on the phone with Jiang Zhao. She originally wanted Yi Er to take the call, but Yi Er almost fainted from being nervous for a long time. Xia Qian was so scared that she cried out, Yi Er, are you okay? Don't faint, I can't carry you. You're so tall, and I'm so delicate. Hey, even though we're backstage, aren't you afraid that someone will take photos? Hey, take care of your image, Yi Er. Hold on a little longer. Jiang Zhao got out of the car and slammed the door. He asked anxiously, Xia Qian, are you guys still backstage? It was noisy backstage. Xia Qian was holding the phone and hugging Yi Er's waist. She didn't hear Jiang Zhao at all. She slowly moved to the chair. After she put Yi Er down, she picked up the phone and placed it next to Yi Er's ear. Your husband is looking for you. Yi Er felt like she needed to take in 2 breaths of air. She was a little breathless. After hearing Xia Qian's words, she didn't dare to answer Jiang Zhao's call. She kept her head down, not knowing how Jiang Zhao would deal with her tonight. Until a pair of shiny black leather shoes appeared in front of her eyes. A pair of creased trousers wrapped around a pair of slender legs. She looked up and knew that she had provoked him. She exhaled, pouted, and opened her slender arms. Her pitiful eyes glistened with tears as she said in a pitiful voice, Husband, I'm scared. Hubby, I'm so scared. I'm still young, you can't hit me, what nonsense are you talking about? Jiang Zhao glanced at Xia Qian, who was standing next to him with her eyes wide open as if she wanted to question him. When did he hit her? Oh right, last time he hit Yi Er's but in front of Xia Qian, but he didn't have the tendency to be violent. Jiang Zhao's voice was cold. In front of Xia Qian, he really couldn't do anything intimate. He coughed dryly and said, Xia Qian, please go and see if the people outside have left. He handed over his car keys. Also, Please drive my car that was parked under the locust tree to the back door. I'll take her back to the hospital first. Xia Qian said unhappily, oh. Although she felt that Jiang Zhao was wrong to hit Yi Er, she was a little afraid of Jiang Zhao because of the incident last time. At this time, she could only take the keys and leave angrily. After taking a few steps, she turned back and said to Yi Er, call me if you need anything. Yi Er said, go quickly. It's just a few steps. Why are you wasting money on the phone? Xia Qian rolled her eyes at Yi Er. You took my kindness for granted. She was just worried that Jiang Zhao would hit her. As soon as Xia Qian left, Jiang Zhao lifted his trousers and squatted in front of Yi Er. He reached out and rubbed her temples. Are you still dizzy? I'm not dizzy. Then why were you dizzy just now? Jiang Zhao helped Yi Er stand up. Yi Er felt a little more energized. I was scared just now. If you were scared, then why did you still do it? Jiang Zhao lightly slapped Yi Er's butt. Her butt was really bouncy. Yi Er stomped her foot. Jiang Zhao, you said you wouldn't hit me. Jiang Zhao shrugged. I didn't say that. So you sent Xia Qian away because you wanted to hit me. Jiang Zhao, I hate you to death. Jiang Zhao was stunned for a moment. He said angrily, if you love me to death, then I'd be surprised. I won't love you to death. I don't know either. When Unwu arrived at the hospital, the nurses refused to reveal where Yi Er had gone, so he went next door to look for Qing Su. Qing Su was sitting on the bed playing games. When she saw Unwu, she waved. Unwu, are you here to play again? Great, let's play games together. Unwu smiled gently. Lulu, why isn't Yi Er here today? Qing Su felt that Unwu was quite tactful. When she heard Yi Er call her Lulu, she followed suit. She went to the auditorium of the College of Communication in the university town to hold a press conference. Did you see the newspaper today? Yes, I saw it. Unwu continued to stand at the foot of Qing Su's bed. He did not walk over to watch her play games. Qing Su moved the mouse as she typed on the keyboard. Yeah, she cried when she saw it this morning. Then she went to look for her friend and held a press conference. She was there for quite a while. I wanted to go, but she wouldn't let me go. Unwu frowned. He adjusted his collar and was about to leave when he nodded and smiled. Yi Er did the right thing. You need to get some rest. You all seem to care about me. Qing Su felt quite conflicted. She wanted to talk to Unwu about Yi Er, but she couldn't do anything in the game. It wasn't that she didn't care about her friends, but the game was also very important. Unwu said, of course, we're all friends. It's only right that we care about each other. I just came over to take a look. Since you're fine, I'm going to work. Have a good rest. Okay, bye. Qing Su thought about it and decided to say goodbye. She didn't have the energy to deal with him now. After saying goodbye, she buried her head in the game. Unwu drove to the university town and stopped calling Yi Er's cell phone. If it was turned off, it wouldn't be turned back on so quickly. From the city center to the university town, they had to take the expressway bridge. In the middle of the bridge, there was a thick red and white striped partition. Yunwa's car was separated from the partition by the Audi coming from the opposite side. The wind brought up the fine dust and then floated in the world. The phone in the Qin family's house had been busy. Qin Rongfang didn't put down the phone after he answered it. After arguing for a whole morning, Mr. Jiang Zero called and his voice sounded like frying iron beans. Old bastard, how did my grandson become like this? What kind of grandfather are you? I told you not to stay in High City. You can't protect him, but you insisted. I tell you, once his term is up, I will find a way to get him back to Jiangzhou. You can't stop me. Qin Rongfang was actually anxious about Jiang Zhao's affairs, but he didn't want to be outdone. You're the old bastard. My grandson is very good. Nothing happened to him when you took care of him? People who achieve great things always have to have some troubles. I don't need you to care about me. Zhao Zhao is willing to stay in High City. It's useless even if it's your wishful thinking. I tell you, just take care of him at home. Even if you want to interfere in Zhao Zhao's affairs, I won't give you such a chance. You old bastard. So many things happened to my grandson this year. You're not qualified to be an elder. Ad Hongcha 866. Chapter 604. Qin Rongfang had always liked to dress up like an immortal. If it was summer, he would hold a folding fan in his hand and wave it. The calligraphy on the folding fan had to be from a famous artist. He was very modest outside, but when he met Xi Jintian and old Master Jiang, his temper could not be stopped. This was because he always felt that he was at a disadvantage in front of Xi Jintian and old Master Jiang if he was polite. Those guys always said, "I'm a gangster," or "I'm here to fight the Japanese." If he did not act like one, he would be their son. Why do you care if I'm qualified or not? Don't meddle in my family's business. Don't talk about a scandal. Even if he was photographed kissing another woman, I can settle it. After saying that, he hung up with a pia sound. He took a few deep breaths. He would not give that old thing a chance to scold him back. His face flushed red. He took a sip of tea and the color slowly receded, returning to his normal complexion. Sitting by the phone, he thought for a while and called Jiang Liqing. Liqing. Hey, Dad. Jiang Liqing had been calling him Dad for more than 10 years after the divorce. Qin Rongfang never said anything and was happy about it. It was as if his daughter and son-in-law had not divorced. Liqing, I have something to discuss with you. Dad, go ahead. Yi Er's intentions are good. She was born in the Yun family, a wealthy family. Her family situation is different from ours. Qin Rongfang paused. Jiang Liqing immediately said, yes, Yi Er really did not consider today's matter. Qin Rongfang held the phone in one hand and held the lid of an old-fashioned teacup in the other. He gently slid the tea leaves on the surface of the water. Actually, you know that Zhao Zhao is outstanding. Not to mention his current position, his looks and figure are all things that women outside want to touch. What Qin Rongfang said was the truth. There were countless women in Jiang Zhao's unit who sent him autumn vegetables. It was not easy for him to remain chaste for so many years. Not to mention his family background. In the past few years, many families in Haiqing have been saying that they want to marry their daughters to our Zhao Zhao, right? Jiang Liqing agreed and said, yeah, Daddy is right. That girl from the Zheng family has a good family background, right? Our Zhao Zhao doesn't like her no matter what. Actually, her family Ouyang is quite good. She has been educated and reasonable since she was young. No one can say anything bad about her. She was once in a relationship with Zhao Zhao. Sigh, I also thought that Zhao Zhao wouldn't want that girl from the Yun family at that time. He's not someone who can't differentiate between current affairs and has his own ideas. But after getting married, he can't separate himself from the family Ouyang. I feel that, regardless of whether this is true or not, it can't be our Zhao Zhao's fault alone. Qin Rongfang said what he wanted to say. Jiang Liqing was stunned. Sure enough, the two old masters of the Jiang and Qin families were protective of their children. There were layers upon layers of hidden meaning in their words. Dad, what are you trying to say? Jiang Liqing was a little confused. Could it be that his father-in-law had called just to chat with him about his thoughts on this matter from the beginning to the end? That couldn't be, right? What I want to say is that Zhao Zhao is a good catch. There are many women who want to stick to him. We might encounter such situations again in the future. Yi Er has already done her best to suppress this press conference, but what she did was a little wrong. She was too reckless. But as you know, she's injured now, so it's difficult for me to communicate with others. Zhao Zhao is beside me, so I don't know how to express myself. But you're Yi Er's father-in-law, so it's easy to talk to her. You should tell her to be more careful in the future. After all, a family with a political background is different from a family with a business background. But you should watch your tone when you speak, in case Zhao Zhao accuses you of bullying that girl again. Recently, he's been very protective of that girl, so I can't be bothered to say anything. It's a novelty. Qin Rongfang finally finished expressing his thoughts. Jiang Liqing almost vomited blood. This was his father-in-law. After all the calculations, it was his fault. Ever since Yi Er was hit by the car, everyone had seen Zhang Zhao's attitude. In the past, Qingjin felt that her son had been snatched away and would get jealous easily. But now, she had restrained herself, afraid that she would make her son unhappy again. This father-in-law of his was quite accurate. He didn't let Qingjin scold people, but let him do it. What did this father-in-law say? That it was difficult to communicate? That he didn't know how to express himself? He felt that this father-in-law of his was quite good at expressing himself. He even knew how to tell him to watch his tone. Dad, I don't think there's a need for this. No matter how hot-tempered Jiang Liqing was and how much he wanted to scold Yi Er for what she did today, when he heard Qin Rongfang's request, he was enlightened. He had to learn from Qin Rongfang and not be the bad guy. After all, the press conference had already started. Even if he wanted to scold, he had to see his son's attitude first. If his son acted like it was nothing, he would endure it and talk about it next time. How can there not be a need? Qin Rongfang straightened his back and argued. What does Yi Er know? You must remind her. If something like this happens again in the future, will everyone hold a press conference? Will she be able to handle it? When the time comes, no one will remember the mayor's achievements, but there will be lots of scandals. Also, the moment she responds, she will stir up trouble again. As long as someone wants to create trouble for her, she will continue to stir up trouble. She should not have given those people a chance. Jiang Liqing had no way to refute. Okay. I will go and visit her tonight. Qin Rongfang happily replied. Good, good, good. Liqing, take care of yourself too. Jiang Liqing was speechless and laughed as he hung up the phone. Everyone wants to bully him. He still needs to perform well. Ouyang Yanfeng stomped on the earpiece, still unable to vent the anger in her heart. Yin Yi had always been a sharp-tongued woman, she had always known that. She also knew that she loved to paint a picture of peace. Otherwise, when Yin Yi saw her and Zhang Zhao hugging each other on their wedding day, she would definitely have fallen out with them. However, at that time, Yin Yi acted as if nothing had happened and pulled Zhang Zhao away. This kind of ability was really not something that ordinary women could tolerate. In front of Zhang Zhao, Yin Yi called her sister Yen affectionately. But behind Zhang Zhao's back, Yin Yi was arrogant. She said the apartment belongs to her husband and she can move in whenever she wants. The last time she dragged Zhang Zhao away from Qingbei condominium was a stark contrast. What's more infuriating was that Yin Yi even framed her. If Ouyang Yan wanted to prank someone, why would she need to push him away? This Yin Yi was the best actress, but this woman was not even 20 years old. Where did she learn such wild tricks? Ouyang Yan felt that she was good at enduring. She wanted to quietly make Zhang Zhao and Yin Yi divorce. They did not have a child, so she would not mind if Zhang Zhao divorced. But now, the situation was getting worse and worse. It had completely deviated from her original plan. This incident was supposed to agitate Yin Yi, but now she was so agitated that she did not want the contents of today's press conference to be released. If it was released, how would she be able to face others? She was willing to be a third party and go out to meet people. At least people would acknowledge her relationship with Zhang Zhao. Now, she was the joke of Haicheng. Yin Yi even stood up for her and said something about being dignified. What did she mean? Couldn't Ouyang Yan have something to do with Zhang Zhao? The reporter who wrote the report did not even have to apologize to Yin Yi and Zhang Zhao. How generous, how magnanimous, how open-minded a mayor's wife should be. But Miss Ouyang was innocent. The editor who wrote the report should apologize to Miss Ouyang, who had a dignified character. Bastard. She originally wanted to reply with some ambiguous words, but she was blocked by this damned Yunyi. Yang Yan's phone rang, but she did not hear it. After a few times, she picked up in a panic. Grandpa. The old man's voice on the phone was kind and dignified. Yun, are you satisfied with this matter? Grandpa has helped you as much as I can, but you're too late. You should have come out before Yuni came out. Now she has everything to say. The Jiang family and the Qin family have already informed the media. The contents of today's press conference will not be broadcasted on the official media, but there will definitely be a video on the internet. If you come out again, will it be of any use? Grandpa. Yang Yan slowly squatted on the ground. Her head was between her knees. She covered her mouth and cried helplessly. Grandpa, what should I do? What should I do? I've only liked one man in my life. Grandpa, Jiang Zhao lied to me. He said he would wait for me. He said he would wait for me, so I left Haicheng to experience life. But when I came back, he got married. Grandpa, he lied to me. I've never been in a relationship outside, and he married another woman. He lied to me, he lied to me. Yun, don't cry. The old man sighed. Grandpa spoils you too much. You're just short of the moon and the stars. Grandpa has already scolded you for doing this, but it's useless. Grandpa just can't change your mind. But the Jiang family can't be compared to other families. We've been friends for generations. Yun, it's not ancient times now. You still have to marry the elder and the younger generation. But Grandpa, he shouldn't have lied to me. If he hadn't said that, I wouldn't have believed him. I would have either left and wouldn't miss him, or I wouldn't have left. He lied to me. Grandpa, I think there's no meaning in living at all. He lied to me like this. Yang Yan collapsed weakly on the ground and curled up. Her outer shell had been torn apart, and she couldn't be dignified and reserved anymore. Yun. The old man's voice suddenly deepened. Yun. You're not allowed to do anything stupid. Grandpa will think of a way. Grandpa, you can't not help me. You brought me up single-handedly. Grandpa, if you don't help me, I'll really have no one to rely on. Jiang Zhao helped Yi Er back to the hospital. Yi Er didn't dare to offend Jiang Zhao, so she didn't say a word throughout the journey. Jiang Zhao kept thinking about the minor details of the matter. He didn't mean to ignore Yi Er, but Yi Er felt that Jiang Zhao was angry with her. She curled up in a corner and didn't dare to act rashly. Take a rest. If you're free, go and play with Qing Su. I'm going to work, Jiang Zhao said anxiously as he prepared to leave after settling Yi Er on the bed. Yi Er sighed. Okay, I know. When Jiang Zhao was about to leave, Yi Er stopped him. Zhao, you're angry with me, aren't you? You can tell that I'm angry. Jiang Zhao stopped in his tracks and happened to walk to the wardrobe in the corridor. He looked at himself in the mirror and tidied up his appearance. I'm not blind. You never discuss anything with me, Jiang Zhao said reproachfully as he turned around. How could I not discuss it with you? I asked you to look for Yang Yan, but you refused. So you hung up on me? So you went to look for Xia Qian to hold a press conference? So you had the guts to turn off your phone? Jiang Zhao didn't want to argue, but for some reason, the two of them became more serious as they spoke. She didn't treat him as her husband at all and acted on her own accord. He was the head of the household. Since when did she have the right to make decisions? Even though he was soft-hearted and allowed her to finish her sentence, her starting point was wrong. He didn't pursue the matter with her, but she started to blame him. Jiang Zhao, you're so annoying. So annoying. Yi Er punched the bed angrily. This man was so annoying when he was being fierce to her. Of course you hate me. Don't tell me you like me. Jiang Zhao remembered that he had said something similar when she said she hated him. Now that he said it again, he felt like he had to get to the bottom of this. I don't like you. You bastard. You only know how to be fierce to me. You're simply a bastard. Jiang Zhao smiled and raised his handsome eyebrows. He was pleased with himself and looked like he wanted to anger the little hussy who was yelling at him. That's great. I don't like you at all either. Look at you, you're just like a little shrew. Oh, Yang Yan isn't a shrew, Yi Er said angrily. That's right. Of course she's not a shrew. Do you even need to ask? Can't you tell? Just as Jiang Zhao was wondering if Yi Er was jealous, Yi Er harumphed. Unwu isn't a bastard either. He's much more gentlemanly than you. People like you who don't know how to respect women should be taught a lesson. Jiang Zhao's face instantly darkened. What did you say? Yi Er was angry that Jiang Zhao was still protecting Ouyang Yan when they were together. Can't you tell? A handsome young man like Unwu is a true gentleman. Handsome young man? Jiang Zhao was so mad that he wanted to smash something. She said that she wasn't in the mood to go to work, but why did she have to King talk about Shi Unwu again? She was still thinking about him all the time. She felt upset whenever she didn't mention him. Young man? Handsome young man? When he thought about how Shi Unwu was about the same age as Yi Er, Jiang Zhao was furious. Yi Er sat on the edge of the bed and stood up. She thought about how she was afraid that the D*MNO Yang Yan would beat her to it. She had fought so hard to protect her marriage, and she was still injured. Was it easy for her? In the end, her husband thought that she was a shrew. A mistress is better. A mistress is gentle like water. Bah! Isn't that right? Unwu is better looking than that Yun of yours, isn't he? What's so good about that Yun of yours? Isn't she just good at pretending? What's so great about that? She's such a vicious woman. You treat her like a treasure. Is she as kind as Unwu? Jiang Zhao really had the urge to resort to domestic violence. If she hadn't just recovered from her serious injuries, if she hadn't just recovered from her old injuries yesterday, and if she hadn't fainted from exhaustion backstage today, he would have beaten her up today. Really, this woman was clearly asking for a beating. Jiang Zhao suppressed his anger, but when he saw Yi Er raise her chin and act like she was in the right, he couldn't suppress his anger anymore. He rushed over and grabbed Yi Er's shoulders, pushed her back, and pressed her onto the bed. Yi Er reached out to hit him. Jiang Zhao. What are you trying to do? Jiang Zhao didn't even take off his shoes. He put his knees on the bed, raised his leg, and straddled Yi Er. Damn D*MN wretched girl. I'm going to teach you a lesson today until you can't call out Shi Yunwu's name. Beauty Novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 605. Jiang Zhao felt that he needed to stuff Yi Er's mouth with cotton wool so that she couldn't scream. This woman always had the ability to drive him crazy. If he continued to go along with her, he was afraid that he would be angered to death by her. There would always be the smell of disinfectant in the hospital. This smell was like gunpowder when it entered his nostrils. Shi Unwu was a handsome young man. Handsome? She dared to say that another man was handsome in front of him. This wasn't the first time she had been so bold. It wasn't enough to praise his beauty, she even praised his kindness. Jiang Zhao. You're going to bite me again, aren't you? Are you jealous? Jealous that I think Unwu is handsome. When I say that Unwu is kind and nice, you're jealous. You like me, don't you? You're in love with me, aren't you? Yi Er raised her small chin. Her lower jaw was clenched, and her small mouth was slightly open. Her pink lips were also bent, and the smile on her face spread all the way to the corners of her eyes. Jiang Zhao exhaled. This little hussy, just forget about this, right? Wait for this, right? You? Look at you, this little shrew. What's there for me to like? All you do is cause trouble for me. What's there for me to like you and fall in love with you? Why, are you crazy for me to fall in love with you? Even in your dreams, right? Jiang Zhao also learned from Yi Er and smiled. When he smiled, he was fighting a psychological battle with the other party. The woman's eyes were dark like two marbles under the light. Yes, even in my dreams, I'm waiting for you to fall in love with me. If you fall in love with me, I'll win. It's a pity, Yin-Yi, you'll never win in this lifetime. The man's silhouette seemed to have been carved. His handsome face was clearly overflowing with the morning sun. At that moment, the beautiful scene made one's heart palpitate. The stars in his eyes were sparse, but the flowing light was exceptionally dazzling. Yi-Er was arguing non-stop a second ago, but in the next second, she was seduced by his beauty. The man's forced lips were mesmerizing. She couldn't win. He was hers. She could spend the rest of her life with him. Did he dare to say that she couldn't win? Was he the heavenly emperor? She turned her head and bit the back of the man's hand. The man cried out in pain, Yin-Yi. Are you a dog? In the next second, a thin and soft tongue wrapped around the man's hand and sucked slowly. The big hand that was pressing down on the woman's other shoulder loosened slightly. He stared blankly as the woman slowly licked the place she had just bitten. This little thing. She always used such vulgar methods to shut him up. But he always enjoyed it. There was no pressure on Yi-Er's shoulder, and her body was still being straddled by Jiang Zhao. She ignored him and raised her hand to hold Jiang Zhao's hand. She opened it up and brought it closer to her mouth so that she could enjoy it slowly. Touching the man's palm, her fingertips touched his career line, his relationship line, and his lifeline. It was said that the lines on one's hand would change. The clear and deep relationship line in his palm, where it was broken, would the end of it become clear and deep because of her? The soft touch in his palm and the soft wet kiss on his hand. Jiang Zhaogang said, Yi-Er interrupted, hubby, does it still hurt? Jiang Zhao sighed softly. Why was he still in pain? This woman. She really made him love and hate her. He froze and forgot that he still had to go to the restaurant. Someone had stolen half a day of leisure. He had stolen half a day of joy in the morning. He leaned over and hugged the woman with his long arms. He lay down on his side and faced her. If I continue to be tormented by you, I won't go to work. How can that do? If you don't go to work, what am I going to eat? Then why are you still making a fuss? Then give me a kiss and I won't make a fuss. Yi-Er pouted. Jiang Zhao had no choice. He grabbed her chin and kissed her lightly. He really didn't dare to kiss her deeply. She was just taking the initiative to get close to him for a moment, and he had the urge to indulge. But it was too late. He had to go to the restaurant quickly. There must be a lot of things to do today. Yi-Er said, hubby, I'm almost done. I want to be discharged and go back to school. Go back to school when the injury on your head is better. Actually, hubby, I don't want to study accounting. Oh. I want to learn to dance. Yi-Er lowered her head. She loved Jiang Zhao, and she had thought of giving up her hobbies for him. She could learn accounting, but dancing didn't have to go to a specialized school. All right, I'll continue to take the exam for that major. But can I learn to dance in my spare time? What for? Jiang Zhao said. His hand was still grabbed by Yi-Er. At this moment, he pulled her closer to his mouth and kissed her. Dancing at your age in elementary school is good. You have a better figure and a better temperament. You're not going to develop in that direction, so why do you still want to learn that? Besides, I don't want you to develop in that direction. No matter how good your wife's figure is, no matter how good she looks when she twists, you can't just wear a few pieces of fabric and dance in front of thousands of people. You haven't seen those dances on TV. Once you lift your leg, you'll be exposed. Although you can wear some clothes to prevent exposure, when it comes to my wife, I feel very strange. I don't agree. Yi-Er let out a huff and deflated. Jiang Zhao's thinking was very old-fashioned. Really, he couldn't keep up with the trends at all. He was just like the old men in ancient times. He was very bad. How could dancing on the stage in front of thousands of people be considered as twists? Besides, what was he looking at? Was he looking to see if she was exposed? This guy's thinking was too unhealthy. Was it old-fashioned or fashionable? That was art. Did he know anything about art? It seemed like she didn't know much about art either. It was just like how Unwoo said she couldn't appreciate his paintings. Yi Er could only take a step back. She didn't know when she would be able to enlighten this fossil. Then people say that dancing can train the body. Can you let me train my body? Sure. I agree with this. If you don't train well, you won't be able to feed me. Jiang Zhao's hand subconsciously went under Yi Er's clothes to her chest and pinched it. Hey. Yi Er was slightly annoyed, but she wasn't annoyed by Jiang Zhao's actions. She liked the feeling of being held in his arms. The two of them were lying on their sides facing each other. At this moment, Yi Er lifted one leg and placed it on Jiang Zhao's waist. Really? Yes, I agree. Really? His large hand trailed down her chest to her waist, gently and heavily rubbing it slowly. When you're discharged from the hospital, you can go anywhere you want to learn. Hubby, actually, I want to open my own dance studio. Is that okay? Yi Er felt that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What exactly do you want? The man was more rational than Yi Er imagined. He tightened his grip, causing Yi Er to frown. You want to take a mile after taking an inch, don't you? Hubby, are you worried about the money? I've asked around. It doesn't cost much to open a dance studio. At most, I'll pay you back when I earn money in the future. Yi Er thought that it was already painful. If she didn't continue talking, it would be for nothing. What nonsense are you talking about? Do I look like I'm worried about money? Jiang Zhao's face turned green. The most infuriating thing was her last sentence. She would pay him back when she earned money in the future. He still wanted her to pay back the money he spent for her? What kind of husband and wife were they? Or did she want to draw a line between them and settle the matter? Thinking of this, Jiang Zhao's heart skipped a beat. Is that what you think of me? Yi Er was taken aback. She lowered her head. No. Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's and filled with sadness. I just want to do something that I like. Before the Yun family fell, Dad said that he would send me overseas to study. Even if I couldn't develop my career overseas, I could come back and open a dance studio. I've been thinking about it. I feel like I've lost something if I don't open one. All right. I'll send someone to select a location with you and see if there's anything you need. Okay, you tell her. I'll get her to contact you later. Yi Er looked up. She was stunned. Huh? What? You don't want to open one? Yes. Yi Er nodded her head like a chick pecking at rice. Jiang Zhao took off the hat on Yi Er's head and tidied her messy hair. But I have to make it clear to you. You can open a dance studio, but you can't accept gifts from others. This is a big taboo. I'm sure there will be a lot of people who want to use their connections to give you gifts. It was fine when you stayed at home in the past, but now that you're running a business, there will be people who want to take advantage of you. Remember, you can't accept anything other than the money you're supposed to receive. Yi Er nodded her head again. Jiang Zhao didn't know whether Yi Er understood or not. Just remember it. When the time comes, there will be a lot of rich ladies coming to buy cards when they know that you have opened a dance studio. There are a lot of things you must know well. Your husband doesn't need to accept bribes. Yi Er nodded even more fiercely this time. Honey, I understand. I understand. I won't cause any trouble for you. I promise. Jiang Zhao was glad that they could talk about such topics that would lower the temperature. After saying that, he quickly got up and walked to the dressing mirror to fix his appearance. He didn't want to waste any more time with Yi Er and left. Yi Er didn't expect Jiang Zhao to agree to her request so readily. Could it be that he liked to goad people into doing things? That didn't seem to be the case. That's right. Jiang Zhao was actually quite kind. Perhaps it was because of his compassion. She smiled, sat up, and swung her legs. As she was swinging her legs, the door opened. Ching Su walked in. "How are you, Sister Yi-er?" Yi-er leaned towards the side. She turned her head and understood what Ching Su meant. She ran her fingers through her hair and tucked it behind her ear. "Lulu, come and sit." "I'm fine." "You look fine." Ching Su walked between the two beds. "Let me ask you something." "Go ahead." "Is Min Hongsheng and Jiang Zhao at odds because of your relationship with that wastrel, Min Zikai?" Ching Su originally didn't want to ask, but when she heard the commotion over here, she simply wanted to come over and ask about Yi-er's situation today. But when she saw Yi-er's excited expression, her guess went very smoothly. But for some reason, she remembered that Min Hongsheng had said this morning that he and Jiang Zhao weren't on the same page. Ching Su was still young and didn't understand many of the conflicts. She couldn't tell the difference between the factions at the back. But from Min Hongsheng's words, she could roughly deduce that Min Hongsheng and Jiang Zhao weren't on the same page and were enemies. But this didn't feel good. She couldn't tell what was wrong. Yi-er frowned and thought for a moment before saying, "Is it possible to say that it has nothing to do with me? Min Zikai's mother doesn't like me. Your father naturally doesn't like me either. If I'm with Jiang Zhao, would he like Jiang Zhao?" Ching Su sat down on the bed opposite Yi-er. It was rare for her to act like an adult and think deeply. She waved her hand and shook her head. "But Sister Yi-er isn't like that. I just think that Jiang Zhao doesn't like Min Hongsheng." "Him? I think he's all right. He doesn't seem to be doing anything that displeases the eye." Ching Su stood up. She didn't know if coming here today was the right thing to do. She felt that it was unnecessary. She was conflicted, but she didn't know why she was conflicted. Beauty novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 606. Jiang Liqing paced back and forth in his office. He wasn't bragging. If he wanted to investigate something, as long as he had a clue, there was nothing he couldn't find out. Once he found out about the news, it turned out that the editor had a crush on Ouyang Yan and wanted to ruin Ouyang Yan's reputation. It was on purpose. What the F***K was this? If she had a crush on Ouyang Yan, then so be it. Why did she have to drag his son into it? This reporter must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. Jiang Liqing thought about it carefully. Even if the reporter had a crush on Ouyang Yan, followed him, and slandered him, why did she have to drag Jiang Zhao into it? One had to know that with Jiang Zhao's status, it wouldn't be good for the reporter to drag him into it. Why couldn't they just fabricate a story about him? Or could it be that Jiang Zhao's story was on the front page? Was there exposure? It was too abnormal. He didn't intend to tell Jiang Zhao about this immediately. He still had to investigate further. Based on his intuition, it couldn't be that simple. The Jiang, Qin, and Shi families were originally on good terms with their ancestors. But when it came to their grandchildren, their relationship became delicate. Outsiders didn't know about the conflict between Jiang Zhao and Shi Yunwu. Jiang Zhao couldn't say it either. After all, his wife's nude body had been drawn. He couldn't tell anyone about it. Besides, the elders in the family were on good terms with each other. Naturally, they would want their grandchildren to be on good terms with each other. He didn't want to ruin it. But he couldn't protect it either. There was no way to protect it. This kind of friendly relationship could only end in his generation. Who could stand his friend coveting his wife every day? What Shi Yunwu did was definitely not something a friend would do. So he didn't need to treat Shi Yunwu as a friend. So when the news came out and Jiang Liqing started investigating, Jiang Zhao instinctively suspected Yunwu. It was understandable. When he returned to the office, he sent Lu Qing away. After closing the office door, Jiang Zhao took out an ordinary cell phone from his briefcase and dialed a number. After the call connected, he said calmly, "Young Fan, let Gu Qin handle the company's matters first. These 2 days, focus on investigating this morning's news. It's best if you can find the person behind it. Yang Fan chuckled and replied casually, okay. Jiang laughed coldly, of course, it's best if you can't find the person behind the scenes. Forget about the bonuses and annual leave. That's right. I think the bonuses are too high and the annual leave is too long. It has cultivated the lazy nature of our subordinates. Check, check, check. Boss, check right away. Jiang Zhao smiled, how's the thing I asked you and Gu Qin to do? Yang Fan said, boss, it hasn't been done yet, so I haven't reported it to you. Min Zikai is a little greedy. Originally, we lured him into taking the bait and shipped a large batch of tiles to Canada as you said. Then, something happened in the middle and he asked for a lot of compensation. Min Zikai is probably used to living like a prince. He has never taken on a big contract. Now that he wants to take over the Min Group as soon as possible, he wants to take a big bite out of it. It's good that he can take on our business. Jiang Zhao wasn't in a hurry. His tall body was nestled in the office chair, arrogant and serious. He tiptoed and the chair turned. When it turned to face the window, his shiny leather shoes stopped and the chair stopped turning. Jiang Zhao held the ordinary cell phone in one hand and put the other on the desk, tapping gently. He waited for Yang Fan to continue. Yang Fan sighed. This deal was originally going to be done, but last time, it was messed up by a little girl. Later on, I checked and found out that it was his sister, Lu Qingsu. Jiang Zhao frowned. If this was going to happen, it would have happened before sister-in-law's accident. At that time, we were at the nightclub with some prostitutes. Min Zikai's sister followed him to the nightclub and said that she wanted to tell Sister Duo about him looking for prostitutes. We didn't hear her clearly, but Min Zikai's face darkened and he wanted to leave. When we asked him about the business, the little girl said confidently that Min Zikai couldn't make the decision for the Min family. If he wanted to talk about big business, he would have to talk to Min Hongsheng. She dragged Min Zikai away. I really don't understand. Logically speaking, it should have been fine after that, but after that day, when we talked about the freight, Min Zikai said that we shouldn't talk about this anymore. Jiang Zhao smacked his lips and changed his tone. Are you talking about a little girl who looks like she's 16 or 17 years old? That didn't make sense. How could Lu Qingsu help Min Zikai? And even if she wanted to help, how could Qingsu know that someone had set a trap for Min Zikai? This was too bizarre. Yeah, she's just a 16 or 17-year-old girl. She's very fierce. After talking about that big sister duo, Min Zikai will be obedient to Gigai. Jiang Zhao could already tell that it wasn't some big sister duo, it should be big sister Yi Er, right? Min Zikai actually cared so much about Yi Er's opinion? Let's not talk about those who haven't made any progress. What about now? Haha. I told him that I have a friend from the border of Yunnan and Burma who specializes in the jade business. He has a batch of jade that is going to be shipped to Europe. If he takes this business, he can make a lot of money. Moreover, he can do it privately. If the cooperation is good, my friend will ship a batch of jade every season. It will save him a lot of trouble and make money. Yang Fan said. Not bad. The price of the jade is scary. Jiang Zhao was expressionless when he said this. He didn't want Qingsu to jump out and ruin things. Haha. We don't know if it will work. She wants to open a dance studio, so it's best to get Gu Qin to check out all the information. Since she wants to open a dance studio, she should do it well. She has to do a market research, and the surrounding neighborhoods should be equipped with it. She has to do a thorough investigation of the surrounding housing prices and spending power. It's best to set the price properly, and guide her to do it. I'm worried that she doesn't know how to run a business, and if she doesn't do it well, her confidence will take a hit. Her confidence will be affected. He asked her to do things because he wanted her to do them happily. He would be annoyed if she pouted the moment she returned home. Don't worry, boss. We'll do a good job with sister-in-law. Yang Fan promised. Okay. You promised so well. If she can't make money, I'll make trouble for you. Yang Fan finally laughed awkwardly. After talking for a while, Jiang Zhao hung up the phone and put it away. His handsome eyebrows were like ink, but not like a big knife. When he was serious, he was ruthless and fierce. When he was gentle, he was elegant. At this moment, his eyebrows were tightly knitted, making people want to reach out and gently smooth them. The road along the river in Haicheng led to the shallow beach. The scenery along the way was pleasant. The river was wide and spacious. It was especially tranquil in the morning and evening when there was no fishing season. In winter, the river was always foggy, and the mountains in the distance were like a barrier. It was like an otherworldly paradise. The man was tall and strong, with bronze skin on his cheeks. His woolen hat was very big, and it wrapped around his head, making his head look very good. The liver-yellow leather jacket he was wearing looked a little old, but it also had a sense of being tempered by the passage of time. Standing on the road beside the river, he didn't admire the scenery. Instead, he looked at the road. He took a deep puff of the cigarette in his hand and threw it on the ground. He stepped on it and put it out. This area was the last place where Ching Su's car crashed into Yi Er's car. The man's gaze fell. At that time, there were a lot of messy tire scratches. But now, the ground was neat and tidy. The tire scratches from before were long gone. In this world, everything could be worn down, including life. But things like memories were hard to erase. They could be bred, such as feelings and hatred. The man's phone rang. His gaze was cold, but it inevitably made people feel dangerous. He was like an extremely cold-blooded hunter. Occasionally, when he heard the name of the person on the phone, his eyes narrowed and a murderous aura burst out. "Don't worry, I'll finish the business he didn't finish." "I know. Of course, this is the rule in the industry. But I'll give you another business for free." "Huh, how about that girl with the surname Lu?" "She's not interested. I'll give it to her as a favor." Gusts of cold wind blew by the riverside. The wind was mixed with layers of water vapor. After a while, the man's black woolen hat was stained with water vapor. After he finished the call, the water vapor condensed into a thin layer of water droplets. His cold-blooded eyes narrowed slightly. The water vapor by the riverside instantly condensed into frost. The surrounding air seemed to have dropped by a few degrees. His voice was calm, but there was hatred in it. "Brother, I won't let you die in vain. I'll help you finish the business you didn't finish." When Unwu rushed to the auditorium of the College of Communication in the university town, the press conference had already ended. Many people were replaying the video recorded on their phones. Unwu easily obtained the video with his quiet and elegant face. The sparse crowd told Unwu that he had been here for a long time. He stood under the locust tree with his hands in his pockets. When he got out of the car, he wrapped a scarf around himself. When he raised his head, the sun shone on his face. There was no warmth, but he could feel the sharpness of the wind. It cut his skin, causing waves of pain. When she woke up, he asked her for meat. The next day, she played with him. Suddenly, there was no hope again. Did she have to depend on Jiang Zhao to survive? It was already noon. Jiang Zhao took advantage of the lunch break to have lunch with Yi Er at the hospital. When he heard her phone ring, he stood up to get it for her. The words "Dunwu" appeared on the screen. His face darkened. After the argument in the morning, she insisted that he was jealous of Shi Unwu. He didn't want to admit it. "Answer it. Use the speakerphone." It was a simple sentence, but because he deliberately avoided looking at it, it had an inexplicable sense of dominance and dominance. It was clearly an order. Yi Er was still holding the spoon in one hand. She took the phone and placed it on the table. Her index finger touched the screen. She slid it open and pressed the speakerphone. "Unwu." Jiang Zhao's face darkened again when he heard her soft greeting, but he deliberately kept quiet. He didn't believe that if he was unhappy, he would be caught red-handed by her. Jealousy was meaningless. Instead, it made her more arrogant. Unwu sighed and slowly let out a long breath. His voice was still the same, like the tinkling of spring water. However, it was autumn now, so it wasn't as cheerful as spring. The tinkling sound was slow and weak. Hey, Yi Er. Welfare, Shinwoo 799. Chapter 607. Yi Er tightened her grip on the spoon. She and Eunwoo had known each other for a long time, and she had admired him for a long time. Eunwoo was a dream that she yearned for. Sometimes, when she thought about it, she felt like Eunwoo was a dream in her heart, a dream that was like a fairyland. She thought that if there was a day when she could live as carefree as Eunwoo, how great would that be? It didn't matter if she was a little poor. She liked to paint. Even if the wind blew, the rain fell, the sun shone, and the wind blew, she wouldn't stop. Eunwoo was a beautiful dream for her. This dream was pure and flawless, clean and pure, untainted by the mortal world. At this moment, his voice seemed to be inexplicably stained with dust, revealing a faint hint of sadness. Jiang Zhao tilted his head, and Yi Er's emotions instantly leaked out. Everything fell into his eyes. It was hard to understand a person's state of mind, but Yi Er's treatment of Eunwoo had always been different, and this had always made him feel ill at ease. At this moment, her absent-minded look and the way she suddenly gripped the spoon handle made his anger slowly spread. He thought that there was no emotion in this world that he couldn't control. At this moment, he didn't believe that he couldn't control himself. Yi Er, did you get together with Jiang Zhao because of what happened with Uncle Yun? I'll help you, okay? Don't make yourself suffer like this. No one could stand her husband having a mistress outside, right? The news had already been reported like this, yet she could still say that. For a moment of stability? When Yi Er heard this, his expression changed drastically. He swallowed hard as if something was stuck in his throat. Was Eunwoo crazy? If Jiang Zhao could tolerate it just now, it could be said that he cared about his reputation. Now that he couldn't tolerate it, it could also be said that he cared about his reputation. Facing the phone, he forcefully suppressed his agitated emotions and said calmly, Eunwoo, just take care of yourself. Seducing a married woman isn't something that a child like you should learn. With that, he hung up the phone. He didn't have the leisure to argue with this lovesick brat. The key was that Yi Er was here, so he couldn't lose his composure in front of Yi Er. She was getting better at controlling him. When she said that he was jealous, she was already provoking him. He couldn't give her another chance. Jiang Zhao continued to eat despite his internal injuries. When Yi Er saw Jiang Zhao's reaction, she didn't know whether to feel relieved or disappointed. She was relieved that he didn't bite her like last time, but disappointed that he didn't bite her. Eunwoo said those words. Jiang didn't bite her. Eunwoo had said that. He didn't even when he said it. Was she asking for it? Yi Er buried her head and continued eating. Jiang Zhao also didn't say anything. When they were done eating, Jiang Zhao's mouth twitched. He wiped his mouth elegantly and said, Yi Er, I'll say it again. You have to be mindful of your status. No matter who or what you did to get close to me and plan to marry me, you have to remember that you are now Mrs. Jiang. You are not an unmarried woman. You have to know who you should reject and who you should stay away from. Don't make me remind you every time. Otherwise, when you are involved in scandals, I will be implicated. You should know that if I am no longer the mayor, your father's matter will not be settled. You better hope that I can stay as the mayor for a longer period of time, right? Yi Er nodded and said, I will take note of that. Looking at Yi Er's despondent look, Jiang Zhao became even more impatient. However, he no longer warned himself not to get angry, or else he would look bad. Also, I've arranged for someone to help you look for the address of the dance studio. If you want to do a good job, you should put in some effort. Whether you can do a good job or not is one thing, but what kind of attitude you should have when doing things is another thing. Don't do your job in such a dejected manner. Get rid of all the teenage girl dreams in your heart and focus on your career. If you're in a hurry, the results won't be too bad. Yi Er raised her head and looked at Jiang Zhao. Did he just ask her to get rid of all her dreams of being a teenage girl? Focus on her career? Although her heart was aching, she had to admit that Jiang Zhao's way of talking was very effective on her. He did not put too much pressure on her, but he also set a rule for her. He found someone to help her. If her attitude was positive, it would naturally be twice the result with half the effort. But his last sentence was that it would not be bad. He did not say anything heroic. It was not exaggerated, and it was not hopeless. Because his request was so simple. It would be fine as long as it was not bad. Thinking of this, Yi Er's heart relaxed. Okay. I will do my best. You can't fall behind in school. You haven't been to school for so long. Liberal arts are easy, but science is rusty. In the future, don't think about going out at night when you come home. I will tutor you. Jiang Zhao felt that if he tried to interfere in other things, it would seem like he cared too much about her. But he could directly lock up all her time without her knowing. In the future, she could not go anywhere except home, school, and dance studio. He would not force her not to go, but he would not give her the time to go. Yi Er laughed dryly. No need. I can handle it. Besides, when did she go out to play? She was already very restrained. You want me to ask for help if I don't do well? How is that possible? Then take it that I was worried for nothing. Okay. If you are home at night, you can tutor me. She did not want to run around when he was home. Okay. I will go to the building after my afternoon nap. Jiang Zhao raised his eyebrows slightly. After Jiang Zhao left in the afternoon, Yi Er thought about it. She was going to be a boss, so she had to tell her friends about this joyous news. The main reason was that she was so excited that she could not help but want to shout. Also, since Jiang Zhao dared to let her open it, he was naturally not afraid of being talked about, right? After thinking about it for a long time, she thought that she should share it with Xiaoya, Xia Qian, and Jingling. In fact, Yi Er was too concerned about Jiang Zhao's future. In addition, she was still too young. That was why she was thinking about these problems. With Jiang Zhao's family background, even if his wife opened a 5-star hotel, he wouldn't be afraid of people investigating. He could just do some procedures and get Qin Zhen, Qin Rongfang, and the others to give shares or assets to him. It would have been better if Yi Er did not make this call. The first person to make the call was actually Xiaoya. When Xiaoya found out that Yi Er was going to open a dance studio, she praised her. Yi Er, if you ask me, I think you did a smart job. What do you mean? In the past, when I asked you to come to my place to be a model, you refused to earn the money. When I thought about how Jiang Zhao did not agree, there was nothing you could do. But now that you have thought it through, I am happy for you. Thank you, Sister Xiaoya. I am quite happy. It's just that I don't have much experience in business. It's just a hobby. Don't talk about hobbies. We need to think about how to earn more money. Men are unreliable. If you can earn money, that is better than anything else. Yi Er laughed along. Sister Xiaoya's words always make sense. Of course, when your husband has a mistress, you will know that with money, there is nothing to be afraid of. Even if he has 10 mistresses, it has nothing to do with you. F***ck. Qiu Xiaoya. Damn you. Yi Er could not help but scold Xiaoya. She was too anxious. Because she was young, she had always been polite in front of Xiaoya. However, this woman often jinxed things. What she minded the most was that Jiang Zhao had a mistress outside, divorce, and so on. This woman just had to mention it all the time. Oh, mayor's wife, it's not nice to hear these words. Xiaoya pretended to be angry and then laughed like a bell in the wind. Qiu Xiaoya, don't get married if you dare. Fine. I will not get married. Xiaoya sat on the desk with her legs hooked together, swaying back and forth. She tilted her head and held her phone while playing with her fingers. What's so good about marriage? All you need to do is to take care of yourself. Why do you still have to care about your husband after getting married? Aren't you looking for trouble? When you give birth, your body will be out of shape. When you have to take care of your family, your mother-in-law will find trouble with you. You still have to learn to tolerate. Anyway, it's fine if you marry well. But if you don't marry well, you are just looking for trouble. Also, men are all ingrates. After you serve him well, he will turn around and sneak out to take advantage of you. Fine, fine. Stop talking. My good mood is ruined because of you. Yi Er felt that Xiaoya had always been like this. What she said sounded like a joke, but when she said it out loud, it was so painful. But she could not say that she was wrong. After all, she had been through a lot. But she was not as open-minded as her. You can open one in the south. Don't be picky about the location. The building opposite us has 2 floors. It used to be a high-end women's clothing store. But I squeezed it out. The height of each floor is not bad, and there are not many partitions. It is spacious, and you don't need to spend too much effort to tear it down. Xiaoya's tone was very arrogant, especially when she mentioned the high-end women's clothing store opposite her was squeezed out by her. South? No, she did not ask Xiaoya where she wanted to open the store. Yes, the rich district in the south. There are many second and third generation rich people in the rich district. There are also many rich women. In short, there is only one word, rich. What does rich represent? It represents spending power. It represents spending power that does not even blink an eye. When Xiaoya straightened her head, she held her phone in her right hand. Her left hand reached for her glass of water on the table and took a big gulp. In an air-conditioned room, she had to drink a lot of water every day. I also signed up for an Indian dance class. But I feel that many people who learn dance are similar to me. When they are bored, they will train their bodies or lose weight. If you are a professional teacher who teaches children how to dance, it will be too simple. And in that case, you will have to hire a very famous dance teacher to be famous. Only then will you be able to afford the price. In this way, your cost will be higher. No matter how rich your husband is, he can't throw his money into the water for fun, right? Yi Er did not know how to do business. If she did, she would not have closed down her father's company. She had not really started to implement it, but when she heard Xiaoya say these things, she became more interested. There are so many ways to do it. Of course. Businesses are all interconnected. Ordinary dancing and fitness places are not expensive. You can't do business with ordinary people. You have to do business with rich people. Rich people are very calculative and can be ignored. Many rich people do not care about how much money they spend. What they care about is that the money is spent. They want to feel comfortable, and they want to feel comfortable from the bottom of their hearts. So you have to do service. Also, there is an advantage to opening opposite me. My clients are all rich people. When you first open, I can help you get some VIP experience cards. At the very least, you will have a stable source of customers in the beginning. Yi Er was stunned again. She did not want to do business with rich madams all of a sudden. Why did it seem like this direction was out of her control? If she was doing this for money, was there any meaning? Just as she thought this, Xiaoya's voice came again with a hint of surprise. Yun Yi. Don't tell me that you're not doing this for money, but for your hobby? Yi Er softly grunted like a mosquito. She felt that Xiaoya definitely could not hear her. Actually, she did not have any confidence at all. She actually liked money too. Yun Yi, are you having a fever? A hobby? Do you know how many artists are out there trying to make money? Don't think that you're not doing it for money just because you're on stage. Let me tell you, it's still the same. Why don't you close the door, install a mirror at home, and dance for yourself? Let yourself be intoxicated. What? I just want to be acknowledged by others. Yi Er felt that she was actually quite vain. When she was young, she wanted to be a dancer who was the center of attention. Xiaoya nonchalantly grunted. Don't be so pretentious. When your dance studio becomes famous and some TV station wants to do a competition program, Get your Jiang Zhao to casually contact someone and get someone from your studio to be a backup dancer. When the curtain call comes, just sign your name and show your face. Once you have the title of a mentor, once your name is out, it will be easy for you to get into some association. In a few years, when you're slightly older, you can find an opportunity to ask your husband to contact someone to let you be a judge. Then you will become popular. When you're famous and rich, people will recognize you. Yi Er was speechless for a long time. Huh, are you talking about your own struggles? Xiao Ye chuckled. That's right. That's how my man helped me become famous. However, he spent more money, so I became famous faster. Whether or not you can get the recognition of others depends on how much money your husband is willing to pay for you, her man. Xiao Ye was speechless for a moment. She couldn't help but regret replacing Zhuang Yichen's name with my man. After saying this, she pouted and didn't want to say anything else. My husband isn't as rich as your man. How much does he earn a month? How can he compare with your man? Yin Yi, go to hell. Don't cry poor in front of me. How can your husband not have money to live in 9th mansion? Why are you pretending in front of me? I'm really not pretending. But I have to discuss with Jiang Zhao tonight about what you said. What's there to discuss? If you want the shop opposite mine, I can help you contact him. The location is so good. Don't miss this opportunity. Haha. Okay. I'll contact you tonight. Yi Er had just hung up when the door to the ward was pushed open. Yi Er turned around and was shocked to see the man standing at the door. Sir, who are you looking for? Sorry, I came to the wrong room. After the man closed the door, he took out his phone and compared the information and photos in the photo album. He snorted softly. Yun Yi. He stopped outside Qing Su's door and looked at the door number. His cold eyes narrowed slightly. Lu Qing Su. Come and take a look, Hongcha 866. Chapter 608. As usual, the man knocked twice, just like how he pushed open Yi Er's door. He pushed the door open and entered. Qing Su was a wild child. Even after entering a wealthy family, she did not deliberately restrict her behavior. When she was young, she lived with her mother and slept with her every day. It was fine even if she took off her clothes in front of her mother. She never felt any pressure. After returning to family Min, she was not used to it. She always went back to her own room to change clothes. After all, there was a man at home. She was also not used to staying in a hotel or a private room. She had to go to the bathroom to change clothes. She treated this ward as a private space. There was nothing wrong with changing clothes in her own room. Moreover, the attending doctor would only come for his rounds at 4 p.m. The nurses were all women. There were no men even among the cleaners. For a moment, she forgot to lock the door. The young woman's body was still young and developing. It was full and lively. When she heard someone knocking on the door, she quickly covered her bare chest and was about to say, "Wait a minute." But at this moment, the door was pushed open. She thought that it did not matter since they were all women. She was just a little embarrassed. However, when she turned around and saw a tall man standing at the door, Qing Su's expression changed drastically. The next second, she screamed, "Sister Yi Er! Save me! There's a pervert!" The man did not even have time to say, "Wrong room." He was shocked by Qing Su's naked body. She was standing in front of the full-length mirror. She was wearing an orange underwear that covered her chest. Although she was still a child, the curve of her back and waist was extremely attractive. He did not expect to see a naked woman when he came in instead of a patient. Light cotton had been operated on her rib cage and sutured. Although there were no stitches on the inside, it was still a little uneven. He did not dare to breathe too hard. When he screamed, his lungs hurt, and the sound of his screams sounded particularly painful. It was not that she wanted to panic in the face of danger. This was much more annoying than a car accident. She had never been seen by a man before. Yi Er heard Ching Su scream that there was a pervert. She threw away the phone in her hand and grabbed the glass vase with the lilies in it. She opened the door and rushed over. The man's back happened to be at the door. She looked at his clothes and saw his liver yellow leather jacket. Wasn't he the one who entered her room by mistake? He actually entered Ching Su's room? Great! He was actually a pervert. This was a private hospital. Was she afraid? The man could only blame Ching Su for clutching her chest and squeezing her breasts as if they were about to burst out, causing him to lose focus for a moment. When he realized that Ching Su was shouting, "Pervert," he realized the danger he was in and wanted to go in and cover her mouth. Who would have thought that an oriole would appear behind him, and it was the oriole that was holding a large vase filled with flowers and water. Yi held the vase and spilled some of the water. The room next door was just a few steps away. The man's reaction was also fast. The smell of lilies, the sound of other people's footsteps, the sense of smell, hearing, and vision were all trained in their line of work. He could quickly sense the danger around him and prepared to turn and leave first, but Yi Er's vase had already been raised behind his head. He raised his hand to block and push the woman away. Unexpectedly, Yi Er did not smash the vase. Instead, she kicked the man's crotch. The man realized that Yi Er was going to kick his important part. He immediately prepared to catch Yi Er's kick. Yi Er had practiced dancing before, so her body was very agile. Sometimes, the stage reaction was very good in a battle of wits and courage. She quickly retracted her foot and moved her body to the side. The vase still did not shake. At this time, she smashed the vase with force. Bang! The glass vase was too thick and did not break. The water from the lilies turned into perfume and splashed all over the man's body. Blood flowed all over his head. Ching Su, who was sitting inside, had taken off all her clothes. When she saw Yi Er coming, she did not care about the pain in her chest. She quickly grabbed a shirt and put it on. After Yi Er went through the experience of chasing after robbers barefoot and being kidnapped by them, she realized that her brain was getting better and better. At the very least, she was smarter than before when it came to using her skills and reactions. She knew how to create a diversion. The man's gaze began to change from cold-blooded to fierce. Just as he was about to raise his leg to kick Yi Er, Ching Su, who was behind him, grabbed the high-end gaming computer that she had just thrown on the bed. She picked it up and was about to smash it at the back of the man's head. However, the man's profession was not a prostitute. He heard the sound behind him clearly. How could he not be on guard? How could he not be able to control two women? He turned around and strode over, wanting to grab Ching Su. Women were easy to control, but two women who had gone through trials and tribulations together were not so easy to control. Yi Er felt that if she let the man hurt Ching Su at this time, she would be too cowardly as the older sister. Moreover, her life was saved by Ching Su. If she became a coward now, she would be ungrateful. The bathroom door was open. Yi Er happened to be standing at the door. Ching Su must have just taken a shower. Her dirty clothes were still piled on the sink. Other than the thin cotton hospital gown, there was only her underwear. The man had already grabbed Ching Su's neck. Yi Er panicked and could not find a weapon. She pressed the emergency call button that could be seen everywhere in the room. She quickly grabbed one of the underwear that Ching Su had worn and pulled it open. She was tall, so her hand reached over the man's head. At this time, the man only cared about the petite Ching Su. He thought that Yi Er wanted to make a move on him. Since he had been discovered, he might as well kill one of them first. However, he did not expect that he would put on another hat. Although Yi Er's hand was grabbed by the man before she put on the underwear, she did not panic at all. She mocked, "If you put a woman's underwear on your head, you'll be unlucky for the rest of your life. Unlucky, unlucky to death. Haha. You'll lose every bet you make. You'll crash every time you see a car. You'll lose everything you encounter. You'll fall sick whenever you get sick. Yi grumbled as she watched the man choking Ching Su's neck with one hand and grabbing her wrist with the other. Yi wanted to hit him, but he quickly grabbed her hand to catch her other hand. In the end, both of her wrists were caught by him. Yi wanted to hit him, but he reacted quickly and grabbed her hand to catch her other hand. Yi realized that the strength of her hand had increased again. Could it be that she was angered? He was still very focused. She could not take advantage of him at all. If she moved, he would turn around and twist her joints. Ching Su gritted her teeth. Her throat was so tight that she could not speak. However, she did not forget to squeeze out some words with difficulty. Sister Yi, how could you do this? There must be dandruff on his head. He's wearing a hat. He must not have washed his hair for many days. It must be stinky. That's my favorite pair of underwear. There's a pig's tail on the butt. Sister Yi, I hate you. Go and buy the same pair and return them to me. Yi was frustrated for a moment. Surnamed Lu, sister will buy a car full of underwear for you. F***ck. The man was furious. It really wasn't underwear? His fiery eyes glared at Yi as if he wanted to eat her up. Damned woman. You're courting death. He had already grabbed Yi arm, but he immediately reached out to pull the underwear on his head. Yi took the chance. She loosened her grip and scattered her energy. She lifted her leg and kicked the man's groin. Go to hell. Let's see who's courting death. Yi watched as the man covered his crotch with both hands. He let go of Ching Su and quickly moved to Ching Su's side to support her. Then, she took 2 steps back. This move was actually very difficult to succeed. In the past, she had tried to use her elbow to hit Jiang Zhao's groin, but she had not succeeded. This was because men were most protective of that area. Just now, she had hit her head, but his groin was not easy to attack. But now, a woman's underwear had messed up the man's mind. The man was kicked so hard that he broke out in a cold sweat from the pain. He used his hands to protect the treasury that contained his descendants, and his whole body bent down. Yi gritted her teeth and used all her strength. This guy was probably going to be impotent in the future. Yi was anxious. Why were the nurses and doctors not here yet? Although there were only 6 rooms on this floor, there was an office for nurses on duty on each floor. Usually, when the bell rang, they would arrive within half a minute. But now, there was not even a nurse. It was too strange. Even when she and Ching Su had kicked the pervert to the ground, the nurses did not appear. Ching Su felt a terrible pain in her chest. Yi knelt on the ground and held Ching Su's body, who had fallen to the ground from the pain. She shouted, "Nurse! Nurse!" Only then did the man realize that he had underestimated the enemy. He had only wanted to confirm if the 2B* cheese were here. It would be more convenient for him to take action. There was a cold and hard gun strapped to his waist. He should have taken it out and killed these 2 damned women. Who would have thought that these 2 little girls, who looked so delicate and tender, would be so unconventional when they started shouting? The pain in his crotch was unbearable. Just as he was about to take out the gun, he heard a ding from the elevator in the distance. Enduring the pain, he stood up straight and ran out of the door. Yi did not have time to care about anything else. Ching Su was in so much pain that her face was pale. The nurse was still not here, and he did not dare to leave Ching Su. Yi could only watch as the man who had caused Ching Su to fall ill ran away. She held Ching Su and shouted anxiously, "Someone! Someone, come!" Jiang Liqing wanted to come early to talk to Yi about the mission his father-in-law had assigned him. If he waited until Jiang Zhao got off work, wouldn't it be troublesome? At that time, he would have to consider his son's feelings and his daughter-in-law's feelings at the same time. As an elder, he would become a sandwiched biscuit. However, as soon as he stepped out of the elevator, he heard Yi sobbing scream. Although he was old, his steps were steady and vigorous. Yi voice clearly did not come from his own ward. When Jiang Liqing stood at the door of Qing Su's ward, he was instantly dumbfounded. There were bloodstains on the ground, and the water stains had formed a large, frightening puddle. There was a large pile of damaged flowers, and it was frightening to look at. "Dad, Dad, call the doctor. Call the doctor." Qing Su was in pain, but she did not scream. Her face was pale as she endured the pain. She was sweating profusely, and her teeth were chattering. She squeezed out the words from between her teeth and said, "I am fine. I'll be fine after lying down for a while." As soon as Jiang Liqing entered the room, he pressed the call button at the door. Yi Er shook his head and said anxiously, "Dad, it's no use. I pressed the button just now. Come here. No one has come for a long time. The murderer has run away, and no one has come." After Yi Er finished speaking, he did not dare to help Qing Su rub her chest and ribs. He was afraid that he would touch something he should not touch. Jiang Liqing shouted angrily, "Wait, I'll be right back." This was simply lawless. What did Yi Er say just now? Murderer? These two girls met the murderer again? This was a private hospital. The security was top-notch. Ad. Hongcha 866. Chapter 609. However, when Jiang Liqing arrived at the nurses' on-call room, he immediately understood what had happened. The nurses and workers were all sleeping like pigs. It was obvious that they had been drugged. He called the hospital director. When the call connected, he raised his voice and shouted, "What the hell? Tell me, what kind of bullsh*t private hospital is this? Hurry up and transfer the doctors and nurses here. Also, get me the surveillance footage from that day. Don't talk about *********. I don't understand. If you continue to use those things to brush me off, I'll get someone to close down your hospital just because of what happened just now." The hospital director was almost 60 years old. At first, he was a little disgusted by Jiang Liqing's attitude of using his power to oppress others. However, when he heard the latter part, he felt that something was wrong. What happened just now? What happened just now? Weren't there doctors and nurses in the inpatient building? There were nurses on every floor. Even if he wanted to call the attending doctor, he didn't have to call the hospital director. He could just call the nurses directly. What on earth happened? When Qing Su was sent to the emergency room for a checkup, Yi Er told Jiang Liqing what had happened in the afternoon. The old hospital director was also standing to the side. When Jiang Liqing heard what Yi Er said, he turned to glare at the old hospital director. After Yi Er finished speaking, Jiang Liqing looked at the old hospital director and started his argument. "What did I say? I said that your hospital isn't safe, right? Do you want me to spread the news for you? You can see which is more important, your privacy or your safety. Both are important." The old hospital director sighed. "But safety is the most important thing right now." Yun Hongwei didn't know that something had happened to Yi Er. When he brought Si Jia to the hospital to see Yi Er, the door happened to be open. A few people were standing at the door and saw Jiang Zhao talking sternly. "I don't care. I don't want the surveillance footage on this floor. I want the footage of all the possible places that the suspect might have passed through." This private hospital did not have an ordinary background. To be able to open such a high-end hospital, the people who lived in this hospital were naturally very capable. Moreover, the people who lived in this hospital were either rich or respectable. Some people even kept their illnesses a secret from the outside world. Once the secret of others was leaked, it would be no small matter. Yun Hongwei pulled Si Jia over to Yi Er. Jiang Liqing was also standing there, his face ashen. After greeting his in-laws, he asked, "What's going on? This is not a small matter. Jiang Zhao is worried that the people who are planning to commit murder today are related to the people that Yi Er kidnapped last time." Yun Hongwei's heart skipped a beat. "Yi Er, is someone trying to harm you again?" Si Jia was young but smart. He understood the meaning behind the adult's words. He hugged Yi Er's waist and asked anxiously, What did you do this time? Yi Er placed her hand on Si Jie's back and shook her head to comfort him. Sister is fine, she's fine. Don't worry. The hospital director sighed helplessly and said, Jiang Zhao, it's not that I don't want to give it to you, but you have to consider our hospital's difficulties. Once news gets out that the hospital released the surveillance footage, how will the hospital receive other high-end patients in the future? Jiang Zhao had lost all patience. If this was the deputy hospital director who did not have any relationship with his family, he would have punched him. This guy was taking advantage of his seniority. He was putting on airs just because he was on good terms with his father and grandfather. Did he really think that he was afraid of him? He waved his hand and said, all right, let's not talk about this anymore. Regarding the medical incident a few days ago, I was thinking that you were close to my father and grandfather. Moreover, since Yi Er has woken up, I didn't want to cause any more trouble. But there's no need for that anymore. I want to file a lawsuit for this medical incident. I can broadcast the entire process live. I don't care anymore. If you want to file a lawsuit, you have to hand over those tapes. If you insist on making things difficult for everyone, then just don't care about your reputation anymore. Jiang Liqing was stunned. Broadcast the entire process live? Wasn't this going a little too far? The hospital director was stunned. Jiang Zhao, this matter, let's not talk about this anymore. My wife was in shock today, so let her rest early. I don't want to argue about other matters. I will get someone to prepare the documents immediately. I took photos of those bags of medicine that day. No matter what, I will start by blaming the hospital for this medical incident. There will always be a way to get what I want. Moreover, Jiang Zhao suddenly paused. His handsome face suddenly darkened as he looked straight at the elderly hospital director. His impatient expression was replaced with scrutiny, coercion, and doubt. I don't understand the hospital's actions. These 2 days, things have happened one after another. I can't do anything else. The day before yesterday, my wife woke up because she was given the wrong medicine. Even if you don't want to show me the surveillance footage, what about you? Don't you care about the responsibility of a nurse? What is that nurse doing? Where is she now? It's been 3 days since the incident happened, and you don't even have someone to apologize to me. Friendship is friendship, but there should be procedures, right? Or could it be that your internal staff has seen the surveillance footage and there are some unspeakable secrets that you don't want us to know about? Jiang Zhao's tone was extremely unpleasant. He didn't sound like he was talking to an elder who had a close relationship with his family. It was a habit for Jiang Liqing to be fierce with the hospital director. It was normal for them to be of the same generation. As they were very familiar with each other, Jiang Liqing and Qin Rongfang didn't take the apology to heart. The main reason was that Yi Er had profited from her misfortune. For the past 2 days, everyone's attention had been focused on whether she felt any discomfort after she woke up with the wrong medicine. When someone who had been in a coma for a long time suddenly woke up, it was always better to be happy than sad. Even if Jiang Zhao had asked someone to investigate, his current thoughts were basically on Yi Er's health. He didn't have the energy to care about other things. But after what happened this afternoon, he really couldn't let his guard down. We. The hospital director was so agitated by Jiang Zhao that she swallowed her saliva and rolled her eyes. The sound of high heels could be heard in the corridor. Every step she took was very pretentious. Before she reached Yi Er's ward, she straightened her back, tucked her hair behind her ear, lifted her chin, and walked towards Yi Er's room. When she saw that the door was open and there were a few people standing inside, including Yi Er, she smiled and held her bag like a rich lady. Yo, why are there so many people today? When he heard the sudden laughter, Jiang Zhao's expression darkened. He turned to look at the door and saw that the person was his mother-in-law. Mom, you're here. Jiang Liqing also greeted her. The in-laws are here. His tone was a little stiff. Jiang Liqing was a soldier and had a clear distinction between love and hate. Although Yi Er married Jiang Zhao because of her status, he more or less felt that she wasn't worthy of him. But since she had the husband's surname, then the Jiang family should treat her better. He more or less knew about Yun Hongwei's situation. Although he rejected him at first, Yun Hongwei was a man who started his business from scratch and had his own way of doing things. He treated people well and wasn't a narrow-minded person. When he interacted with people, he knew what to say. He knew that Yun Hongwei was a straightforward person, so he always listened more than he spoke. He appeared to be very cultured and his replies were concise and to the point, neither servile nor overbearing. He could be considered to have admired him. He really didn't have a good impression of Yi Er's biological mother. The number of times Yi Er was hospitalized after being injured was less than the number of times her in-laws came to visit her. She was gorgeously dressed all day long. Although she looked very young at 40 years old, her fingernails were painted as if they were dyed with blood. What was this? But in-laws were in-laws, so he still had to show them some superficial respect. Yi Er called out, "Mom." Si Jia threw himself into Zhou Li's arms. "Mom, you're finally willing to come. Did you miss sister?" In Si Jia's heart, he had always hoped that Zhou Li would come to visit Yi Er. He was very sensitive and would always catch the eye contact between the adults. Yun Hongwei curved his lips. "Xiao Li, you're here." Zhou Li greeted everyone warmly. "You're all here today. Yi Er is also awake. Let's have a meal together." Yun Hongwei's expression stiffened. He really didn't know how Zhou Li could speak in such a manner. This was the first time she had seen Yi Er since he woke up. Shouldn't she ask some personal questions? He had always known that Zhou Li was very dissatisfied with Yi Er's birth and had never paid attention to it. He didn't expect her to be so cold. Jiang Zhao thought that this was a family matter. It was too inconvenient to talk with the dean here. He didn't want to say anything unhappy and make others laugh. So, he sent the dean away first and told him some things that needed to be negotiated later. When he came back, Zhou Li was talking to Jiang Liqing casually. "Commander Jiang, why are you here? It's so good to be a commander. Jiang Zhao also benefited from you. As the mayor, he also got off work early." After saying that, she laughed a few times. She seemed very generous. Yun Hongwei breathed out some air through his nose and then inhaled deeply. It was really not suitable for him to talk to Zhou Li here. He was very uncomfortable and his heart was a little uncomfortable. Si Jia was still nestled in Zhou Li's arms. Yi Er saw clearly that his younger brother liked his mother very much. Jiang Zhao pretended not to see it. He came from behind Zhou Li and said softly, "Mom, please move aside." Zhou Li gently moved aside. Jiang Zhao was tall. When he walked past, he was expressionless. He was like a mountain. Zhou Li felt a burst of pressure. Zhou Li's words just now naturally drilled into Jiang Zhao's ears without missing a single word, making him feel uncomfortable all over as if he had been stabbed. If his father didn't come early today, would Yi Er still be standing here in one piece? If his father didn't tell him that Yi Er had an accident, would he go to the hospital before it was time to get off work? But now, he didn't ask Yi Er a word and cared about other people. He held Yi Er's elbow and said, "The doctor said that you just woke up 2 days ago and hit your head yesterday. You need to rest more and don't cause trouble. Why didn't you listen?" These words seemed to be deliberately said to Zhou Li. Yi Er heard it and said, "No, I didn't cause trouble. If I didn't go today, Qing Su would be finished." "Yes, yes, yes. You are righteous. You should go. Is that okay? I didn't say that you did anything wrong. It's just that the next time you encounter danger, don't you know to call me first before going?" Jiang Zhao was blaming him, but his tone was very gentle. He forced Yi Er to sit on the bed. Yi Er sat down and looked at Jiang Zhao. He pursed his lips slightly and complained that Jiang Zhao was blaming him. "I didn't think so much at that time. Qing Su was screaming for help. You were screaming for help too. Would I still have time to call you? I was so anxious at that time." In this room, even Si Jia could tell that Jiang Zhao didn't like Zhou Li. Zhou Li naturally felt it too. She quickly pulled Si Jia to Yi Er's side and asked, Yi Er, did you encounter danger today? Yi Er tilted his head and looked up at Zhou Li. He was a little touched and said, yeah. A pervert barged into Qing Su's room next door. You know Qing Su, right? The girl that Family Min brought back a few years ago. Awesome novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 610. Oh, that girl. She's rebellious and unruly. She's just a wild girl. No one likes her. Zhou Li said with a hint of contempt. Yi Er actually felt uncomfortable when she heard those words. She thought that if it were anyone else, even if they were her best friends, they would feel conflicted when their parents reprimanded them, let alone their savior. However, she still smiled and said, Mom, I used to be a wild girl too. That's right. I'm curious. Why were you so wild in the past? You didn't act like a lady from a wealthy family at all. It's all because your father spoiled you. Other daughters from wealthy families are very dignified. You didn't have the temperament and cultivation of a daughter from a wealthy family at that time. Now that you've been through some hardships, you're more sensible than before. Yi Er's body trembled violently. Jiang Liqing had obviously noticed that Jiang Zhao, who had already straightened his back and looked at Zhou Li, had a hint of anger in his eyes. This anger was naturally unavoidable. No matter how dissatisfied he was with his son, he still had to praise him in front of others. How could he criticize his daughter in front of her father-in-law like this? If her in-laws were not good, wouldn't it become her daughter's weakness? Afraid that the smell of gunpowder would grow stronger, and even more afraid that Jiang Zhao would suffer internal injuries from holding it in, Jiang Liqing mediated. He walked over and took Si Jia's hand. Along the way, he brought Si Jia to his side. Although he was old, his physique was still strong. In order to close the distance, he pulled over an open foldable chair by the bedside table and sat down. With a rare look of affection, he said, Si Jia, have you been happy at school recently? Not bad. I heard that sister's health is not good, so I'm just a little worried. Si Jia had a high EQ. In front of the elders of the Jiang and Qin families, he always knew how to act obedient. Si Jia is really a good child. Jiang Liqing patted Si Jia's shoulder. He did not treat him like a child and pat his head. Si Jia especially liked being treated like a man. His impression of Jiang Liqing improved. Of course, I'm so obedient. Does that mean I don't need to go to boarding school? When Zhou Li heard this, she walked over and squatted beside Si Jia. Darling, don't you want to go to boarding school? How about you and Mom? You and Mama won't let you go to boarding school, okay? When Yi Er heard this, he suddenly turned to look at Yun Hongwei. As expected, he saw his father's face turn pale. Yi Er jumped up and went to support Yun Hongwei, who was still in a daze. She mocked Zhou Li loudly, Mom. You can go now. Don't come again. Don't appear in our lives again, please. Go and live your life of luxury, okay? Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er's agitated state. Without another word, he forcefully pulled Zhou Li, who was squatting on the floor, up. He didn't care if they were elders or juniors. He dragged and carried Zhou Li out of the room. When Jiang Liqing saw Yun Hongwei's reaction, he hurriedly pressed the button to call for help. This family was really worrisome. Not even for a single day. He couldn't help but complain in his heart. Jiang Zhao pulled Zhou Li to the corridor and said coldly, Mom, why are you still here? After questioning her, he sneered coldly, people say that people live for their faces, and trees live for their bark. You've been persistently provoking father-in-law and Yi Er time and time again. What's your motive? I suspect that you're not here to ask for custody. You're just afraid that father-in-law won't die from anger and that Yi Er's heart won't be hurt enough, right? Zhou Li bit her lip and suddenly looked pitiful. When she looked at Jiang Zhao, her eyes were already watery. Jiang Zhao, please help me. I only want Si Jia. As long as Si Jia is with me, I promise. I promise you that I will do what Yi Er said and never appear in front of them again. Jiang Zhao found it extremely laughable. Who do you think that Yi Er is talking about are? It's Si Jia, Yi Er, and Yun Hongwei. He paused and said firmly, let's go to court. Jiang Zhao, we really can't go to court. If we go to court, it's all over. Towards the end, Zhou Li's voice was like a weak worm's moan. It was hard to hear clearly. She seemed to be saying repeatedly, it's all over. It's all over. Jiang Zhao didn't care whether Zhou Li was all over or not. He only hoped that Zhou Li wouldn't disturb his small family's peaceful life. He and Yi Er needed a quiet environment to spend time together. He didn't like life to become too exciting. He liked his family to be stable, peaceful, and harmonious. He wanted his family to be together even after they grew old. He didn't want anything to hinder this outcome. Mom, that's enough. When a mother should be doing her duty, you ran away. There's no more chance. Really? Jiang Zhao, it's not like that. Zhou Li held on to Jiang Zhao. The nurse had already entered the ward. Zhou Li dragged Jiang Zhao to the other end of the corridor. Jiang Zhao said coldly, Mom, let me go. Mom, let go. I want to go in and see Yi Er and Dad. Zhou Li didn't let go. Jiang Zhao, I want to tell you something. Just let me finish. Listen to me. Let's go over there and talk. Jiang Zhao saw that Zhou Li didn't seem to be lying. Okay. At the smoking area at the end of the corridor, Zhou Li let go of Jiang Zhao's sleeve and lowered her head. Jiang Zhao straightened his sleeves and said, Mom, go ahead. Jiang Zhao, we can't go to court for this matter. Zhou Li didn't look up. She lowered her high heels. There was a circle of rhinestones around the edges of her shoes. It dazzled her eyes. Although she had never felt sorry for Yun Hongwei, it was still difficult to say it in front of her son-in-law. Jiang Zhao didn't say anything. He waited for Zhou Li to continue. Jiang Zhao, Si Jia isn't Yun Hongwei's child. He can't win the lawsuit. Jiang Zhao was shocked when he heard this. To him, this was too shocking. Si Jia wasn't Yun Hongwei's biological son? How did this woman do it? How could she make Yun Hongwei raise someone else's son for nothing? He didn't respect Zhou Li to begin with. At this moment, he felt even more disgust. If Si Jia is willing, but what will Si Jia think when he finds out? How can he grow up healthily? This was the reason why Zhou Li refused to get Si Jia back for Yuan Shichang. Sigh. Jiang Zhao sighed softly. If she was worried about the child's physical and mental health, she wouldn't have done such a thing. His eyes became a little dull. A day as husband and wife means endless devotion. Father-in-law needs Si Jia now. Why do you have to force him like this? Don't you feel guilty at all? Guilty? I don't love him. I just feel sorry for Si Jia, Zhou Li said truthfully. Jiang Zhao frowned deeply and turned his face away. So it was okay to have a child with another man if you didn't love him? You didn't even feel guilty? Oh my God. Was his thinking too old-fashioned and couldn't keep up with the times? Or was it wrong for two people who didn't love each other to be together? Yi Er must be Yun Hongwei's biological child, right? So Zhou Li didn't even love Yi Er? What if Yi Er gave birth to his child in the future? Would she not love him either? Jiang Zhao ignored Zhou Li. He didn't hear Zhou Li call his name either. He just left in a daze. Slowly, step by step, it was as if his feet were shackled by thousands of pounds of iron shackles. It was said that like mother, like daughter. Would Yi Er not love his child in the future? How could Yun Hongwei not know that Zhou Li had a child with another man? He felt that this world was really scary. How could he not know that the woman he spent all his time with had an affair with another man? Jiang Zhao felt a headache. The coils in his head were tangled and pulled in a mess. It was as if his head was filled with something and was about to explode. Suddenly, it was emptied. He leaned against the wall and felt a little weak. He sat on the bench to rest. He rested his elbows on his knees and rubbed his face with his palms. The more he rubbed, the more chaotic the nerves in his head became. No. No. He couldn't continue thinking about it. Yi Er was different from Jolie. Yi Er was kinder than Jolie. She didn't abandon her younger brother when she was in dire straits. She did everything she could to get her father out of prison. She said that she wanted a family, a warm family. How could such a girl's character be bad? At least it showed that she had a strong sense of family and responsibility. How could a person with a strong sense of family and responsibility be like Jolie? A woman like Jolie didn't know what a sense of responsibility was. If she did, she wouldn't have abandoned Yi Er and Si Jia, right? So the saying, like mother, like daughter, did not exist. It didn't exist. Yi Er couldn't be as fickle as her mother. Ah Zhao. Jiang Zhao's divine sense was awakened by Yi Er's anxious voice. It was such an intimate form of address. Only she would call him like that. He let go of his hands and propped his forehead up with his palms. His eyes followed his head and he saw Yi Er running towards him with an uneasy expression on her face. Jiang Zhao stood up and caught the hand of the woman who had run to him. What's wrong? Zhao, the doctor said that my father needs emergency treatment again. What should we do? Yi Er tried her best to hold back her tears and fear as she narrated to Jiang Zhao. Let's go and take a look. Jiang Zhao hugged Yi Er and hugged her shoulders. The two of them didn't look back at Jolie and quickly walked towards the other end of the corridor. Yin Yi, Dad will be fine. I believe you. Jiang Zhao's heart trembled for a moment. In the end, Jiang Liqin didn't say anything on this trip. It didn't matter. At most, if his father-in-law asked, he would just say that he had already spoken to him. Looking at him, it was obvious that he wouldn't come to confront him. Jiang Liqin felt that his thoughts at this moment were a little unworthy of his military uniform. A soldier should be upright and plain-spoken, but didn't the saying go? If the family was harmonious, everything would prosper. Now that the Yun family was in this state, he didn't want to add to the mess. Jiang Zhao had something on his mind. He wanted to go to the hospital director to get the surveillance footage, but Yi Er grabbed his hand tightly and refused to let go. He could only wait outside the emergency room with her. Si Jia sat next to Yi Er and patted Yi Er's leg like an adult. It's okay, sister. Don't worry too much. Humans were like that. When you had someone to rely on, you could be weak. When you didn't, you were forced to be strong. When Jiang Zhao wasn't around, Yi Er would pat Si Jia's back and say to him in a firm voice, Si Jia, it's okay. Don't worry. Sister has a way. But now, she would grab Jiang Zhao's hand tightly and squeeze it tightly. She would say to Jiang Zhao in a trembling voice, Hubby, I'm scared. What should I do? People who had someone to rely on would slowly become lazy because they could fulfill every request. They could stretch out their hands for clothes and open their mouth for food. They didn't have to look at other people's faces anymore. They didn't have to do everything by themselves anymore. If there was someone by your side and you told him that you were scared, he would say, Don't be scared. I'm here. In the past, whenever Yi Er encountered setbacks, she would tell herself that she had to be strong. But when she was about to collapse from failure, she couldn't help but say angrily, I don't want to be strong at all. I want to be weak. It's not good to be strong. A powerful novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 611. Now, she felt that it was not good to be strong. It was good to be weak. When you were weak, you could see that there was a strong man by your side who held up the sky for you. She did not believe that a marriage without love could not last long. Jiang Zhao could hold up the sky for her. As long as she had time, she would slowly draw Yi Er and white clouds in that sky and decorate it into a beautiful scenery. She needed time. When she had time, he would be there. Jolie returned to the south dejectedly. She did not want to return in defeat. She had already promised Yuan Shicheng that she would do her best. She did not want Yuan Shicheng to hurt Yi Er. As expected, Yuan Shicheng flew into a rage after asking about it. His violent personality was rarely displayed in front of Zhou Li. To Yuan Shicheng, it was a bolt from the blue that he did not have a successor. If his Jingzi had a higher survival rate, he would not have wasted this effort. As long as there was a woman, he would not be afraid that she could not give birth to his child. However, there was only one child out there. He raised his hand and was about to slap Zhou Li's face. Zhou Li looked up and said fiercely, "Hit. If you hit me, we'll break all ties." Yuan Shicheng immediately restrained himself. "Shaoli, I didn't want to hit you. I'm just angry. It's useless. Let me tell you. Let's do artificial insemination." Yuan Shicheng suddenly felt that his self-esteem had been violated. Artificial insemination? I have a son. Why do I have to do that? I won't do it. You. Zhou Li sat on the sofa and bounced. She crossed her arms and leaned back. You're unreasonable. Humph, Yuan Shicheng said angrily. Are you going to be like before, leaving after meeting me? When did I? Zhou Li stood up. I already told Jiang Zhao that Si Jie is not Yun Hongwei's son, but Jiang Zhao refused. What do you think I can do? You actually told him? Yuan Shicheng was stunned. That's good. It's good that he knows. But even if he knows, he won't give it to me? Yeah, I already asked him to help me, but he said that a day as husband and wife means endless devotion for the rest of your life. He meant that I should not disturb Yi Er and the rest in the future. Zhou Li sighed helplessly and sat down again. She was a little anxious. After sitting for less than half a minute, she stood up again and went to get herself some water. Jiang Zhao is a scourge. How could Yunyi find such a powerful backer? No, I have to get them to divorce. Once they're divorced, it'll be easy to snatch custody. Otherwise, it'll be really troublesome. Zhou Li was holding a cup of water to drink when she suddenly choked. Jin Chang. After shouting, she kept coughing until her face was red. Yuan Shicheng walked over lazily and patted her back. Why are you so agitated? What I said was the truth. Jiang Zhao was in the middle. If he really helped Yunyi get custody, even if I was Si Jie's biological father, he would think of something. So how do you think we can snatch it? After all, I haven't fulfilled my responsibility as a father all these years. If Si Jie doesn't agree, it will be really difficult. But you can't let them get a divorce. Zhou Li stopped coughing and slammed the cup in her hand on the table. Yi Er finally has the life she has now. If she gets a divorce, she'll have nothing. She's not even 20 years old yet, and she's still studying. If she gets a divorce, how can she continue her studies? Where will she live? I'll give her a house, provide for her studies, and buy her a real estate. As for money, I'll give her more. What do you think? Zhou Li's brain suddenly short-circuited. She laughed and said in a way that she thought was kind. Sure, as long as she has a stable life in the future, anything is fine. I'm just worried that she'll have to suffer again. Qing Su had been sent back to her own ward. She wanted to tell Yi Er, but Min Hongxing would never allow her to get out of bed and walk around again. Even if she wanted to thank Yi Er, she would have to wait until she was better tomorrow. He felt that if Qing Su were to cause trouble again, the person in the emergency room wouldn't be Qing Su, but him. He was old and couldn't act like a young person. He couldn't afford to cause trouble. Qing Su lay in bed. She was really bored, so she took a pen and paper and started to draw on the table. She was thinking about the man in the afternoon. That disgusting man dressed like a vagrant singer. He was wearing a yellow leather jacket and a woolen hat that seemed to have been worn for a long time. The brim of the hat covered his eyebrows, but his eyes looked like a cold-blooded animal. They were cold and murderous. The beard on his face was strung together. Although it wasn't thick, it was still obvious. His nose was very high, and there was a hook at the tip. His nose looked like a foreigner's. His upper lip was slightly thicker than his lower lip. Chin, what did his chin look like? Ching Su was drawing in boredom. Min Hongxing wanted to urge her to rest, so he walked over and asked softly, Ching Su, what are you drawing? Ching Su supported her chin with her small hand and looked at the half-drawn face on the paper. She frowned and said, I'm bored, so I'm drawing. After Yun Hongwei was sent to the ward, Jiang Zhao forced Yi Er to go back to his room to sleep. Si Jie refused to go home alone, so Jiang Liqing brought him back to the villa where the commander of Xing Nan Road's army lived. Jiang Zhao and the old director had agreed that he would go to the monitoring room after he was done with the matter and get the staff to cooperate with him. The old director couldn't bear to wait and went home early to rest. When Jiang Zhao arrived at the monitoring room, it was almost 12 o'clock. Frames of images flashed by. According to Yi Er's description, the man's balaclava was pulled down very deeply, and he was wearing a yellow leather jacket. He actually had a work pass hanging on his chest. He swaggered into the hospital. Jiang Zhao asked, how many types of work passes are there? The technician answered truthfully, there are official jobs and temporary jobs. Temporary jobs? Yes. Humph, Jiang Zhao said, haven't temporary jobs been abolished by the labor law? The technician didn't know how to flatter people. He was an honest technician, so he was always the one working overtime and the one getting promoted was always someone else. But aren't the positions in the government also divided into internal and external staff? Isn't it just a formal job and a temporary job? In other words, it's just a legal violation of the labor law. Jiang Zhao was a person who had a status to back him up wherever he went. No matter who it was, they would always give him some face. Even if the old director here didn't want to show him the surveillance footage, he would still be polite. But in the end, as long as his attitude was firm, he wouldn't be able to change his mind. This young man looked like a hothead. He actually dared to say something like that. That's also different. How could Jiang Zhao admit that the difference between internal and external staff was the same as that between official and temporary jobs? Different? What's the difference? The fundamental difference between official and temporary workers is the difference in treatment. Both internal and external staff are also treated differently. Academic results are calculated based on grades and rankings, while work results are calculated based on salary. Jiang Zhao asked again. What about that image? Is this man's work pass official or temporary? The technician zoomed in on the screen, but the image was not clear. I can't see clearly. The biggest difference between official and temporary is that one has blue font, and the other has green font. The work pass is covered with a plastic cover, and it's a little reflective. I can't see the color clearly. Jiang Zhao rubbed his chin and asked, where did he get this work pass? If he is a criminal, he might have stolen it, robbed it, or found a fake ID from a telephone pole and spent 20 renminbi to get it. Jiang Zhao looked at the image and zoomed in slowly. When the work pass started to shake, the technician paused and zoomed in. After listening to the technician's serious reply, he felt that this person was suitable to be a technician. He was not tactful and would say whatever he wanted to say. Just because he was the mayor, he did not try to flatter him. He was a good technician. Have you ever thought of changing your job? If there is a job with better pay and more stability, I will change. Jiang Zhao and the technician were chatting, but both of them were looking at the screen seriously. What an honest man. Yes. The party teaches us to seek truth from facts. You joined the party? No. Anyway, I am not working for the machinery department. Why should I join the party? Stop. Jiang Zhao shouted, and the technician immediately stopped the image. Jiang Zhao saw the man turn his head and zoomed in on the image. But he still could not see the man's face. The mask on his head was pulled down, and he was walking with his head lowered. The technician also showed the video of Yi Er giving the wrong medication. That nurse entered the elevator from the underground parking lot. Her license plate was blocked, and she went straight to the nurse's room. She then pushed the trolley into Yi Er's room and went straight to the underground parking lot. She did not even change out of her nurse uniform. When the trolley left the hospital, the person driving was not wearing a pink nurse uniform. She should have taken it off, or there was someone else waiting for her. But that nurse's uniform was just right for her. She was tall and did not look like a woman. "We don't have such a tall nurse in our hospital," the technician said. When Jiang Zhao heard the technician say that, he finally confirmed that Yi Er's life was in danger at any moment. Someone could want her life at any moment. Who was this person? Today. That man went into Yi Er's room and then left. He then knocked on Qing Su's door. This was too strange. What was the connection? Perhaps the nurse's walking posture was purposely awkward, but after zooming in on the same two heads, one of them had fairer skin and the other had darker skin. It was not done by the same person. As Jiang Zhao thought about this, a chill ran through his heart. He started to feel uneasy. He cuffed the man's part and took it away. When he returned to Yi Er's room, he reached out to touch Yi Er's nose. She was breathing. He felt that he was being too sensitive. He then went to the duty room to remind Yun Hongwei to inform him immediately if anything happened. When he returned to Yi Er's room, he locked the door, took a shower, and went to bed. Jiang Zhao had just come out of the bathroom and wanted to sleep with Yi Er. He would only feel at ease if he hugged her. But before he could crawl into bed, there was a knock on the door. Qing Su was shouting outside the door. Jiang Zhao, open the door. Help me. I drew a picture. Help me. Welfare, Songshu 566. Chapter 612. Jiang Zhao did not dislike Qing Su for being noisy, but he disliked her for being so noisy at the wrong time. At this time, everyone was already asleep, and Yi Er was already asleep. She knocked on the door indiscriminately. When he went to open the door, he heard Yi Er asking in a daze, "Who's here?" Jiang Zhao frowned. How annoying. Qing Su was shouting for Jiang Zhao to help, but when she heard Yi Er's voice, she immediately crawled under Jiang Zhao's arm and jumped onto Yi Er's bed with the drawing in her hand. She asked excitedly, "Sister Yi Er, I drew a picture. Look, look. Isn't this man the pervert who wanted to strangle me this afternoon?" When Jiang Zhao heard this, he quickly closed the door and strode back to Yi Er's bedside. When he saw Yi Er suddenly frown when he looked at the drawing, he quickly took the drawing from their hands. When he looked at it, he also frowned. He looked down at the small child kneeling on Yi Er's bed and could only be described as speechless. Qing Su, is this a drawing of a person? No wonder Yi Er kept frowning when he looked at it. How could it not be difficult? Shouldn't Jie be better at drawing? How is it not? It has a nose and eyes. I've never drawn before, but I think it's quite good. It's very lifelike. After saying this, she shook Yi Er's arm. Sister Yi Er, don't you think so? I should go to university to study art, right? I think I have the talent of an artist. Yi Er laughed dryly. Ahem, you do have the talent of an artist. Jiang Zhao looked at the elementary school level drawing in his hand and added, Qing Su, you can definitely become an abstract artist in the future. A master of art. Qing Su got off the bed and stood beside Jiang Zhao. She took the painting from his hand and said, "Thank you for your compliment. I will work hard." Jiang Zhao looked at the portrait in Qing Su's hand, and an idea suddenly flashed through his mind. Qing Su, did you draw this portrait based on that person's appearance? Yes. I'll call someone over tomorrow. You guys watch him draw and try your best to draw that person's face completely. Yi Er nodded and agreed. However, Qing Su said, are you complaining that my drawing isn't good enough? You're doing freehand brushwork. Tomorrow, I'll find someone to do a realistic painting. You can learn from them. Why do you want to go further than what's close at hand? Isn't Unwu good at drawing? Why don't we just ask him to come over and draw? Qing Su gave the best suggestion. Jiang Zhao said coldly. Qing Su, go back and rest early. I'll make the arrangements. Qing Su didn't even know what was going on before she was chased away. How would she know that Jiang Zhao hated Unwu? Qing Su returned home dejectedly. She took the painting back to her room. Min Hongsheng, who was about to go to bed, asked, Qing Su, did you go next door just now? Qing Su nodded and said unhappily, yeah, let Jiang Zhao see the murderer I drew. Min Hongsheng was shocked. Come, let Daddy see. Qing Su actually didn't like Min Hongsheng sleeping in her room. She didn't need anyone to accompany her, and she would press the call bell if she needed anything. However, Min Hongsheng insisted that he wouldn't care about her after she was discharged from the hospital. Moreover, during the days when she was in a coma, he was the one who accompanied her in bed. Qing Su didn't know why, but her brain short-circuited and she agreed to it. This feeling was really strange, and she wasn't used to it. She handed the painting in her hand to Min Hongsheng. When Min Hongsheng saw it, the corners of his mouth twitched imperceptibly. Then, he immediately smiled and said in a voice full of praise, Aya, I really didn't expect my baby girl to have a talent for drawing. After you're discharged, Daddy will find you a famous teacher to teach you. Maybe our family will have a female artist in the future. Daddy stinks of money. If we have a female artist, we'll bring honor to our ancestors. Qing Su turned her face away. Who will bring honor to your ancestors? My surname is Liu. After saying that, she couldn't help but laugh. Oh right, there's no need to hire a teacher. I think Shi Yunwa's drawing is pretty good. Why don't you go and ask Grandpa Shi to teach me how to draw? Min Hongsheng was stunned. A few days ago, he thought that his daughter was in love with Jiang Zhao and always wanted to run next door. He was worried that she would fall in love with a married man. Why did she suddenly fall in love with Shi Yunwu? However, that kid from the Shi family wasn't bad. He was good-looking and had a good family background. He was a good match for his daughter. Thus, Min Hongsheng's brain started to think like it was infected with a virus. Okay, Daddy will go and talk about this tomorrow. Is that okay? Okay. Qing Su thought for a while and said, also, I actually want to learn how to do business and earn more money in the future. Why don't you ask Qin Fian to teach me how to do business? Min Hongsheng felt that his brain needed to be reinstalled. This girl wanted to have a foot in two boats. That's not good. Qin Fian is Jiang Zhao's cousin. We should avoid contact with the Qins and the Jiangs. Why? Sister Yi Er and I are quite close. In any case, don't interact too much with him. Qing Su sighed and said, Min Hongsheng, I think you can be quite childish at times. You should have taken the initiative to reconcile the matter between Min Zikai and Yi Er's sister. Even I know that it's easier to make enemies than to make enemies. Even I know that Jiang Zhao's family background is strong and powerful. But why do you have to be as smelly and stubborn as a rock in a latrine? Although you may not be able to be friends with the Jiang and Qin families, you can't be their enemy either. How can you do business like this? Qing Su was impulsive and loyal, but she wasn't stupid. Moreover, she had been in society for a long time and could see the fickleness of human nature. She could even feel the need to be hospitalized. In the past, when she was poor, she would line up to go see a doctor and the doctor would be expressionless. Now that she was rich, she had to stay in a ward alone when she was sick. The ward was even bigger than her and her mother's house. The attitude of the doctors and nurses was very good. Although she didn't curry favor with people from rich families, she wouldn't deliberately cause trouble or make enemies with them. Of course, it was a different story if they provoked her. But Min Hongsheng's attitude was obviously not good. Jiang Zhao didn't have a bad temper and treat her badly, but Min Hongsheng had always been resistant to the matter between Yi Er and Jiang Zhao. Min Hongsheng was surprised for a moment. He never expected Qing Su to say such things. He also never thought that Qing Su's mind would suddenly become so mature. He was suddenly gratified. Qing Su, Daddy knows. It's just that some things aren't as simple as you think. It's not the right time to tell you now. Some things, whether it's friends or enemies, can't be resolved easily. You'll understand in the future. Daddy will slowly teach you how to do business in the future. When Ching Su heard Min Hongxing's dogmatic words, she didn't say anything else. She also felt that she had said too much today. She pulled the blanket away, took off her shoes, and crawled in. She pulled the blanket over herself and went to sleep. Yi Er leaned into Jiang Zhao's arms. Jiang Zhao couldn't sleep. He could feel that Yi Er was also moving around at this time. If it were any other time and she was moving around in his arms like this, he would definitely not be able to control himself and want to do her. But today, he really wasn't in the mood at all. When he thought about what happened in the afternoon and Jolie, he didn't have the mood to do that at all. The woman's back was pressed against his chest. Her spine felt as if it was touching. She had lost weight during this period of hospitalization. Yin Yi, tell me, what kind of family would be happy? When Yi Er heard Jiang Zhao's voice, it sounded a little distant and a little cold. She was a little uncomfortable. If she was uncomfortable, then so be it. At most, she wouldn't turn around and look at him. She thought about her own wishes. She wanted to have him, take him down, and make him hers. From his body to his heart, she wanted to nibble at him step by step. When she thought about how he would fall in love with her someday, her heart was as sweet as honey. Even her voice became a little softer, and there was a hint of happiness in it. I think that a family with love would be happy. Jiang Zhao listened to Yi Er's voice. It was as if it wasn't real. Her voice was like a sandwich dessert. With one bite, it was soft, sticky, and sweet. Even with his eyes closed, he could feel the clouds in the sky being sprinkled with sugar. That cloud was extremely blissful. She said that a family with love would be happy. The word love? Did this word make her feel so comfortable? What if it's like us? Jiang Zhao thought to himself. If he said it too directly, would it spoil the atmosphere a little? Yi Er's heart sank. The happiness from before was swept clean. Suddenly, she felt a little down, and her back stiffened for a moment. If a man hugged you and asked you, would a family like ours be unhappy without love? If he asked you that question, how would you answer? At this moment, Jiang Zhao was hugging Yi Er. He could feel the reaction of her stiffening back, and he sighed softly in his heart. Yi Er took a deep breath. She should sort out her emotions and not let them fluctuate too much. He hugged her from behind, his arms circling around her chest. Her hand reached over and rested on his wrist, gently caressing it. Even though the scene from before was gone, after a moment of silence, she suddenly had a new answer. I think we will be happy. Before we got married, I said before that marriage doesn't necessarily require love. I think responsibility is also very important. As long as the two of us are willing to protect this family and let this family continue to be stable, then we will be happy. Just like in the middle of winter, even if there's no air conditioner in the room, we can still cover ourselves with blankets. As long as no one comes to lift the blankets, as long as we cover ourselves tightly and don't let the cold wind enter the blankets, we will be able to sleep soundly and have a good night's sleep. Think about it, isn't it great to have a warm place to sleep in the middle of winter? Yi Er knew that she and Jiang Zhao were like a small world. In this small world, they needed warmth and a place to nurture warmth. They needed blankets to cover themselves against the cold. They needed to defend with their lives. However, during this process, no one could snatch their blankets away. The Ouyang Yen was Jiang Zhao's air conditioner. Without blankets, as long as the Ouyang Yen was running, Jiang Zhao could even take off his clothes and sleep with it on his body. However, she wasn't Jiang Zhao's air conditioner. She could only hug him and use her meager body temperature to use the cotton blankets to protect her body temperature. She used the entire night to warm up the long night that belonged to them. As long as the Ouyang Yen didn't lift her blankets, she and Jiang Zhao would be able to sleep warmly until dawn. It wasn't that she didn't feel sour in her heart. Every woman had her own self-esteem. Since she was young, she had been taught that women must know how to love themselves. However, when you fell in love with someone self-esteem would be left behind. She pestered him and took the initiative to please him. After quarreling, she took the initiative to admit her mistakes. Actually, she was also very envious of those girls who were pursued by men. Every day, they would make solemn vows of love. I love you. I love you for 10,000 years. My love for you will never change. She also wanted someone to say these words to her and shamelessly beg her to give him her heart. Then, she would arrogantly do things again and again. She wouldn't stop until she tortured that man to death. That kind of vanity was so desirable. However, the person she fell in love with was Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao had the Ouyang Yen. Ad. Hongcha 866. Chapter 613. Jiang Zhao couldn't become that kind of man. If he became that kind of man, he wouldn't be Jiang Zhao anymore. He hugged the woman who had lost a lot of weight even tighter. Jiang Zhao's heart was gently plucked and trembled as it bounced against the walls of his heart. It was both itchy and painful. Enchanting said that he and Yunyi weren't compatible because Yunyi's education level was low while his was high, because Yunyi's family background wasn't good while his family background was good. He knew that it was easy to not find common ground when it came to education. But now, he increasingly didn't know what superficial was. Was Yunyi superficial? She always said things that were so shallow that one could see the sand and stones at the bottom of the water, but all of a sudden, it seeped into one's heart. Their marriage didn't have a love that could warm them up like an air conditioner. Then, they would find a bed and blanket, hug each other, and cover the gaps around them. In the middle of winter, how could they not be happy to have a warm place to sleep? To be able to feel warmth in winter, if this wasn't happiness, then what else could be considered happiness? She was different from Jolie. She had a sense of responsibility. She said that responsibility was very important. He believed that she was willing to be responsible for this family. At this moment, he was willing to believe in her. A week later, all of Yi Er's indicators were normal and she was discharged. The people from the Jiang family called to urge him to prepare for the wedding on the 6th day of the first lunar month in Jiang district. Jiang Zhao agreed. On Sunday morning, the fog and frost were heavy. Yi Er was forcefully pulled out of bed by Jiang Zhao and went outside to do morning exercises. Jiang Zhao was dressed in a light gray casual suit with a drawstring top that made him look especially youthful. Yi Er rarely saw Jiang Zhao dressed so casually. She really felt that this guy obviously wanted her to come out for morning exercises and deliberately dressed so youthful to seduce her. Ah, Zhao, didn't we renovate a gym on the 2nd floor? Let's not go outside to do morning exercises. Yi Er felt that it was cold outside and it was easy to drink the cold wind into her stomach. How can that be the same? The environment here is so good. Of course, we have to come out to breathe in the fresh air. Dad has already taken Si Jia to exercise. How can you be so lazy? In fact, Jiang Zhao did not mean to do this. His mother said that since they were already married, it was better for them to exercise their bodies and have a child as soon as possible. Speaking of this, he had some thoughts. Although he had a child at home now, he was his brother-in-law after all. He could not be compared to his own flesh and blood. His eldest brother's son was also very likable. She had just been discharged from the hospital, so it was naturally not good for her to be pregnant. She needed to exercise and start implementing this plan after the college entrance examination next year. It was not as if she could not get pregnant in college now. If he really couldn't do it, he would just take a break from school. After all, he couldn't wait any longer. Yi Er really had no way to compete with Jiang Zhao. She was urged and beaten by him all the way until she walked a few rounds around the neighborhood like a dog. When she bumped into Zhuang Yichen, who was walking a big golden retriever, Yi Er stopped and hid behind Jiang Zhao. She was a little scared of Zhuang Yichen. Zhuang Yichen acted like he was not familiar with Jiang Zhao and greeted him casually. Mayor Jiang, Mrs. Jiang, good morning. Jiang Zhao replied politely. Mr. Zhuang, are you walking your dog? Yes. After saying that, he squatted down and stretched out his big hand to scratch the golden retriever's neck. He raised his head and looked at Yi-er. When he smiled, 1,000 flowers bloomed. Mrs. Jiang, you look good today. You are getting prettier. Yi-er rarely saw Zhuang Yichen smile, and it was such a friendly smile. Sometimes, it was a cold smile. Looking at him walking his pet and smiling at her, she felt dizzy. Luckily, she already had someone in her heart. What if she was still a young girl? Who would be able to withstand this kind of shock? Qiu Xiaoye was the best. She still said she was not getting married. Did she really not want to marry Zhuang Yichen? These 4 young masters of Haicheng were the scourge of Haicheng. Jiang Zhao was still the best. She had taken care of this scourge, and he would not be able to harm others in the future. Ouyang Yan was an exception. She would slowly make him unable to harm Ouyang Yan. Thank you for the compliment. Yi-er took another step forward. Zhuang Yichen was not as fierce as before. She kind of liked the dog in his hands. She reached out to play with it, but before she could bend down, Jiang Zhao pulled her hand back. Be careful, it will bite you. Why would it? It's not like I haven't had a dog before. Golden retrievers are very kind. Let's go. Jiang Zhao pulled Yi-er away and said to Zhuang Yichen, Mr. Zhuang, take your time. We will run for a while more. Okay, take care. After Zhuang Yichen finished speaking, he stood up and walked his dog in the opposite direction of Jiang Zhao. Why won't you let me touch it? Golden retrievers won't bite people. Its owner is still here. Jiang Zhao definitely wouldn't say that he wanted her to have a baby, so he couldn't have a pet until after the baby was born. Seeing that Yi-er was angrily following behind him and refusing to chase after him, he trotted back to Yi-er's side and walked slowly with her. Pets carry a lot of germs on them. What if they touch it? Do you think people like Zhuang Yichen won't keep their dogs clean? You're really thinking too much. You don't know how fast germs can mutate nowadays. It's the easiest for germs to mutate from animals to humans. Every large-scale national serious disease is mutated from animals. You have no compassion. Yi-er knew that Jiang Zhao was telling the truth, but she still couldn't agree with his point of view. Zhuang Yichen looked like a cold-blooded person, but he still had a dog. Jiang Zhao was the real cold-blooded one. He didn't have any compassion at all. You like pets. I'll buy you a fish to raise, okay? We're both animals. Now you have compassion, right? Jiang Zhao took a step back. Yi-er exploded with anger. Fish? Dog? How could it be the same? How could it be the same? Oh my God. What was this man's brain made of? How could it be the same when they were both animals? Why don't you ask me to raise a snake? We're both animals. You want to raise a snake? But I don't think you have the guts to do that. If you really like it, I'll buy it for you. I'll just pull out your teeth. Okay? Get lost. Who said I want to raise a snake? She clearly said that she wanted to raise a dog. How did it turn into buying a snake to raise? Jiang Zhao shook his head. Are all women as unreasonable as you? Yi-er felt like she had been stabbed. Ouyang Yan is very sensible. He never quarrels with you, right? Boring. Jiang Zhao turned to leave. Yi-er also turned to leave. After taking 2 steps, she realized that something was wrong. Why did she leave? She went back to chase after Jiang Zhao. Hey, why did you say that I'm unreasonable? You must explain to me clearly. You've always been unreasonable. I didn't. You did. When did this happen? You must have evidence to slander me. Anytime. From morning till night. Good morning, Mayor Jiang, Mrs. Jiang. Yi-er immediately held Jiang Zhao's arm and smiled. Good morning, Mrs. Wang. When the strollers walked past, Yi-er immediately shook off Jiang Zhao's hand. From morning till night? Don't I have an hour of normal time? Am I so unbearable in your eyes? Jiang Zhao turned to look at who was angry alone, and held his forehead. Oh my God, your imagination is really rich. Yes, 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 yes. I have a rich imagination. I'm unreasonable. I'm not good at anything. Both of them acted like a model couple. After they separated, they started to bicker with each other until they reached home. Yi took out a pair of shoes and placed it in front of Jiang Zhao. Change your shoes. Although you think I'm not good at anything, I'm used to carrying your shoes for you. Although I'm angry with you, I can't bring myself to let you wear a pair of female slippers. Jiang Zhao smiled and entered the house. Yi went to prepare some porridge, fried some eggs, and prepared some side dishes. After breakfast was ready, she said. Let's eat breakfast. You don't have to wait for Dad and the rest. Although you think I'm not good at anything, I'm still used to cooking breakfast for you. Although I'm angry with you, I can't let you starve or feed you soy milk. Jiang Zhao smiled and ate his breakfast happily. After breakfast, Yi started to clear the dishes. Although you think I'm not good at anything, I'm still used to not letting you do the dishes and do the housework. Jiang Zhao stood up silently and sat on the sofa. He pulled out a newspaper and read it. After Yi finished washing the dishes, she wiped her hands and sat beside Jiang Zhao to make her presence known. Before she could say what she wanted to say, Jiang Zhao looked at the newspaper and said, although you said I don't think you're good at anything, I still think you're a very good girl. So a good girl should smile more and not complain all the time. She shouldn't be narrow-minded all the time. She should be broad-minded. That way, she'll become prettier. What? He actually said she wasn't broad-minded enough? Because she even allowed him to have a mistress. How could she be broad-minded? Was the Pacific Ocean so wide? Jiang Zhao glanced over and saw that Yi was about to say something again. He immediately threw the newspaper away and opened his arms. Come, my beautiful girl. Let your husband reward you with a kiss. Go to hell, who cares? Yi's mouth twitched a little awkwardly. You're not coming? If you're not coming, then I'm coming. Jiang Zhao said and pounced on her. Yi was pressed onto the sofa and kissed fiercely. Yi was kissed until she was panting. She pushed Jiang Zhao away and said coquettishly, Hey, didn't we agree on a kiss? Jiang Zhao put his hand under Yi's clothes. His dry palm oil felt very comfortable on her soft and supple skin. He bit her ear and teased, Oh, I'm sorry. Why did I give you so much at once? Can you give it back to me? How many more did I give you? Was there 10,000? Give me back 9,999. I'm going to faint. How can there be 10,000 kisses in such a short time? So you think it's too little? No, Yi was pinched, kissed, and rubbed. She was as soft as a puddle of mud. Hubby, it's so early in the morning. Don't play like this. I can't take it. Can't take what? The tip of the man's nose was on the woman's neck. He didn't care even if he burned her to death. I can't take it. I can't take it. You seduced me. The living room was very big. The long sofa was connected to one another. It was a little exciting in such a bright and open place. But when she thought about how her father and brother could come back at any time, she still felt a little depressed. The man's hand was already unwilling to just invade her upper body and move to her pants. Hubby, Daddy is coming back. Yi was so anxious that she kept twisting. She grabbed Jiang Zhao's clothes and pulled tightly. Her voice was as unbearable as her buttocks that were moving. Go upstairs. Jiang Zhao was already on top of Yi. At this moment, he pulled out his hand from her pants and put it under her waist. When he scooped her up, he also stood up. Yi hooked her legs around Jiang Zhao's waist tightly. Come and see. Shinwu 799. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.